Marketing from AKTU, MPhil Management, B.Ed, M.Ed, and currently pursuing PhD in Commerce and related to the women empowerment. She is a British Council certified career coach, mentor, career counselor, educationist, soft skills and personality development trainer, motivational speaker. She has been an editor in chief for various magazines and newsletters. She has worked like event host and anchor for various events. She has been a national president for Youth Development and Leadership Council for WICCI. She has been a state vice president for SNW Foundation for Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. She has conducted various workshops on stress-free exams and counseling for the schools in association with various newspapers like Amar Ujala and Dainik Jagran. And apart from this, today she is here as an entrepreneur because she is running her own master class, which is an institute of skill development, and she has been in this particular, domain for the last 20 plus years. So with the core hurt, and she is doing a very, very, great job as far as women empowerment and upliftment is concerned. So with this note, I would like to invite Ms. Shweta Rastogi ma'am to this session. Over to you, ma'am, now.
Thank you so much, sir, for this impressive introduction. Though, like, I am from the education fraternity only. Thank you so much once again. So I can see that people have joined in, and I should begin with the entrepreneurship development program out here. The topic that has been given to me is soft skills, developing soft skills or soft skills development and seeking information. So let us just connect with each other. So, an individual hi to everyone present here. I hope you are all doing well and great in your fields. Sir, I wanted to connect with my PPT. So, should I?
Just a moment, I will make you the host, ma'am.
Okay. It can be bilingual or only English?
It can be mostly in English, but you can use in Hindi as per your convenience or the
Yeah, yeah.
audience
Sure,
convenience.
sure.
Not in. Just wait for a moment, and I'm just looking for the option.
So, well, we are connected today for one of the important things, that is soft skills. Generally, we say soft skills. Exactly, we forget that we forget to distinguish between soft skills and hard skills. So, soft and hard are two comparative words out here, being the adjective for the skills. So, my stress would be on the soft skills, but let us just discuss key, what are the hard skills may be the technical competencies the people may be hailing with, like they have earned respective degrees and qualifications and different tools that they might be using. But other than that, when we talk about soft skills, so that's a you can say a paradigm shift, I can say, when we talk about the skills which are soft in nature. Generally, these skills, when we talk about, these are intangible skills because we cannot touch them. These are invisible skills, they are not visible. And these are interpersonal skills, people skills, or power skills. So, our main concern today in this program, in this event, would be to focus upon different soft skills which are needed, why the soft skills are important, and how you can use those soft skills for, bridging the gap out here. So, sir, I just wanted to connect with my PPT. Is it done?
Ma'am, just a problem. There is some problem. Just wait for a moment. I am
Yeah,
talking to
sure.
Ayush to make you
Now,
the host.
other than that, before it gives me the time and the leverage to connect with the audience, so I can see my friend and my colleague Priyanka out here. How are you doing, Priyanka? Her mic is turned off. And Akansha Balyan, Rajat Thayal. So basically, we all have joined in just to have a perspective and an idea about what communication skill, or what effectively, what effect can the soft skills bring into our lives, whether we are leading a position, we are running our own enterprise, we are the entrepreneurs. So for that, we need to connect, with a mindset that soft skills are the core of, every enterprise. So how many of you generally, connecting with you people, how many of you generally understand what are soft skills? Though I'll be giving you an elaborate discussion about soft skills. सो सॉफ्ट स्किल्स के बारे में सभी ने सुना होगा. सॉफ्ट स्किल्स के शोर बहुत मचा रहता है आजकल. सॉफ्ट स्किल्स की ट्रेनिंग दो. तो जनरली व्हाट पीपल डू दैट दे मिक्स अप सॉफ्ट स्किल्स, और दे टेक सॉफ्ट स्किल्स फॉर ग्रांटेड, और वो उसमें सिर्फ कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स तक अपने आप को लिमिटाइज कर देते हैं. So when we talk about soft skills, it is not only communication skills. That is one part. सो सॉफ्ट स्किल्स के बारे में अगर कोई अपनी यहाँ पर राय देना चाहे मेरे स्टार्ट करने से पहले.
Ma'am, you can, I suppose you can share now.
ओके फाइन, लेट मी
You
ट्राई,
are a
लेट मी
host, I
ट्राई.
suppose.
ओके,
Yeah.
जस्ट अ मिनट सर. आई वुड नीड योर हेल्प हियर टू कनेक्ट.
Just check it where, whether option is available or not. Share screen.
I'm just trying, sir, because somewhere here I need to see if I'm connecting the screen out here. So I think the same screen would be shared. I think the screen is only getting shared, sir.
Ha, ma'am, you just open your PPT and it will be shared. You will have the
Okay, no
option.
problem, no problem. Is it done?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are seeing
Okay,
your
so
PPT.
it's F5 that I have to press, I suppose.
Yes, yes, yes. To
Yes,
maximize it.
yes. I did it, but it's not happening.
Go for a slideshow otherwise.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it
it
done?
is visible. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Now
First
you
of all,
can scroll
thank you
down and
again for
yeah,
giving me
thank
this
you, ma'am.
opportunity. MIT, I think, has been supporting me enough since the beginning, organizing my sessions online and offline as well. So I think this is the third session with the MIT or MIT group, I can say. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Let's move ahead. So this is the day 5, that is March 13, 2024, developing soft skills and consolidation of business idea. So my topic is soft skills development, information seeking. Let's just connect. Like, this is because entrepreneurship development program where we are talking about soft skills, and it is DST sponsored and powered or presented by MIT. This is my introduction which sir has given, so let's just skip it over. Now, see, when we talk about soft skills, see, these are the most valuable and most valued skills, which people generally tend to focus only on a part of it. It means that either they stress upon communication skills, but they forget that what are the intrinsic elements of soft skills. So the first one that I would say over here, if I would start with a story out here. So, can you see me also by the side? Am I visible also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me just skip it for a minute and let me just see. You know,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I just want to
It,
connect. Yeah,
yeah,
I just
it,
wanted to say that I want to start with a story. That's a story where, some kind of motivation would also be there. It would actually make you delve into the vast field of soft skills. So when it once upon a time, like the story starts, so a balloon seller was selling the balloons, and the time that his sales used to go down, so he would actually release the balloon into the air. These were the gas balloons. So children used to rush to him, and his sales used to shoot up, and he used to make money every day like this. It was his you can say his bread and butter. So one day one child came to him and he asked him, अंकल मुझे वो गुब्बारा दो जो सबसे ऊंचा जाए. Okay, उस कलर का गुब्बारा दो जो सबसे ऊंचा जाए. So he was surprised at this question, that the child was taking it like this, that the color of the balloon would decide the height of the balloon, that it would go up into the sky. So ultimately he laughed, and then he explained the child that it is not the color of the balloon that would take it up, it is exactly what is inside the balloon. यानी जो बलून के अंदर है, यानी कि आप सब जानते हैं हीलियम गैस है, एम आई राइट? यस. सो वो गैस की वजह से ही वो बलून हवा में उड़ पाएगा. तो accordingly, the same concept is, you can say, it tallies with us, because हमारे साथ भी यही केस है कि हमारे अंदर जो है वो हमें ऊपर लेकर जाएगा. ऊपर इन द टर्म मीन्स, if you want to go higher into our field, if you want to advance into our field, so we have to see, we have to introspect what is inside us. So what is inside us में, now I would ask my audience to please give me the answer one by one कि हमारे अंदर क्या है जो हमें ऊपर लेकर जाएगा. Yeah, to just it's kind of an icebreaker session. Yes.
Self motivation.
Okay, self motivation. Okay, fine. Next, आप motivated रहेंगे तो definitely you can deal with the problems. Akansha,
Leadership.
leadership. Very good. So now we are connecting. Okay. Rajat, Komal, Arti. Anyone? Anyone? आप लोग बार बार भी बता सकते हैं. It is not the
Our
complexion, not the.
specific skills,
Yes,
our particular skills related to a
yes,
particular
our
field.
particular skills. But I'm just throwing light upon. मैं आपसे पूछना चाह रही हूँ वो क्या चीज है हमारे अंदर, वो कौन सी particular skill है.
We could say the soft skill.
Yes.
If you could say that is the soft skill.
Yes, I want to elaborate it. Like we can say कि soft skill में हमारा decision making होगा, conflict management होगा, हमारा attitude होगा, time management होगा, stress management होगा. तो ये जितने भी XYZ, जितने भी नाम हम यहाँ ले रहे हैं, they actually make up the soft skills. So this is my definition. Like अगर हम soft skills की बात करते हैं, getting back to my PPT, कि अगर हम soft skills की बात करते हैं यहाँ पर, तो यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करेंगे कि मोस्ट वैल्यूड स्किल्स हैं ये हमारी, सो वी आर नॉट रॉन्ग. सो एग्जैक्टली when we talk about these soft skills, all these are mentioned over here. So individually, if we want to go, you can say we want to escalate our efforts to go to rise higher into our field, into our job, or into our enterprise. We have certain dreams, we have certain aspirations, so these are the skills which are required. So confidence is also there, empathy is also there. So we will be dealing one by one. So am I clear, so that I should move ahead? So that was just a brief introduction. So a guide to enhancing communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. So it is not only communication. So now that is what I discussed with you while we were not able to connect with the PPT, that these are the skills which are intangible, which are invisible, which are interpersonal. So it's not about what you know. You might be knowing everything around in the world. You might be a jack of all trades, but it is not only about what you know, but how you apply your skills, your knowledge, that what you know. Like whatever you know, you should know how to apply it, and you should be able to deal with the people, how you engage the people and the world around. So it is the beauty, the craftiness that you have, that you can deal with the people, you can get them engaged with you and get a positive feedback. So when we define soft skills, so it's kind of an oratory definition about soft skills, that it's combination, like I've told you, we call them people skills, social skills, communication skills. These are different attributes, or you can say the character traits, the attitude, career attributes, social intelligence. Now these are, plethora of words that we would be using out here, that you can say that in 2024 we need such kind of skills to excel in our field when we talk about soft skills, because we need, our agenda is seeking information from the people, like what information, and how we should actually seek the information from the people when we are running our enterprise or when we are leading a particular position. So next is, these are the common soft skills when we talk about communication skills. Now see, communication skills is just a part of it. Second, when we talk about emotional intelligence, now this is something, we need to look after, because people tend to fail in this particular arena. So we talk about time management, we'll also talk about problem solving skills, leadership skills, adaptability. Then later I have also added some points like conflict management or work ethics, like this. So when we talk about communication skills, I would be skipping from here to the rest of the slides before discussing other points. When we talk about communication skills, generally that communication is a two-way process. Okay, when there is a sender and a receiver, so I would just be cutting it short. हम सब जानते हैं कि communication क्या है यहाँ पे. So exactly जब हम interact करते हैं, we are either sending the information or we are receiving the information. Now communication is not just about talking. It is all about the LSRW skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So when you talk about the communication process, it is there in two ways, that is verbal and non-verbal. Verbal means use of words, whether in written or in oral. Okay, and when we talk about the non-verbal communication, we talk about the para languages, we talk about body language, we talk about kinesics, that means that's the body language only. We talk about haptics, we talks about proxemics, that is the distance measuring language out here. So these are different aspects. So when we talk about communication skills, it is not just speaking, it is also to listen to the person, and it is not hearing, it is listening. When we talk about listening, it means effective hearing is taking place. We are gaining the information, otherwise information filter हो जाएगी. अगर आप ध्यान से उसको नहीं सुनेंगे तो आप filter कर देंगे information, and that becomes a kind of a ruckus where later on when you have to jot down the notes and you forget what was exactly said. So यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करते हैं तो communication skills को strong करने के लिए हम लोगों को LSRW चारों skills पर ध्यान देना पड़ेगा यहाँ पर. And moreover, other than this, if we talk about, I'm just escaping the mode. When we talk about communication skills, see, communication itself is a you can say, I would say it's a dividend if you are good at communication skills. But in the same way, if you're not able to have command over communication skills, then it becomes a kind of a fiasco, a kind of a ruckus. So let me just connect back with the communication skills in detail. Just a minute. Yeah, I'll come to this slide. Yes. So here I would be starting with, and yes, we were talking about communication. So communication is one of the strategies to achieve success if the communication is strong. So how to exactly? Now, effective communication, when we are talking about, so these are different ideas why communication is important and why effective communication is important. Communicate तो हर कोई कर लेता है, but effectively उसको communicate करना है तो उससे क्या क्या benefits होंगे, that we should actually ponder over. The first one is that it would reduce the misunderstanding. I told you, it would be a disaster if we are taking the things for granted and हम लोग उसको जो है ढंग से perceive ही नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. Second, it creates a positive work environment, because when people are very cordial in terms, when people are communicating so effectively in kind of a following all those 7 C's of communication, where courtesy is the part, completeness is the part, correctness or concreteness is the part, clarity is the part. So that is why the communication becomes effective, and that effectiveness actually can be seen in the working environment. Then we talk about the communication barriers out here, and we are able to reduce those communication barriers. Communication barriers कैसे हो सकते हैं? Communication barriers language की वजह से हो सकते हैं, that are those semantic barriers. Psychological barriers हो सकते हैं, socio cultural barriers के रूप में हम बात कर सकते हैं. तो these are different things that which may hinder the process of communication, which act as barriers. तो अगर communication effective होगा तो ये barriers भी नहीं रहेंगे. When solving conflicts, now यहीं से हमारा conflict management आएगा, और teamwork के ऊपर भी इसमें एक point है, it encourages teamwork. So effective communication, अगर communication proper है and proper channel से है, right, it is communicated to one and all, so it means a healthy teamwork would be visible. Now, see why the effective communication is important in the workplace. First of all, day-to-day communication. So, second is communication, like अगर हम upward और downward कैसे भी बात कर लें, horizontal की बात कर लें, movement में, you all must be knowing कि flow of communication क्या होता है. तो हम leadership to teams, it means to and fro communication जो होगा, उसमें हम effective communication ला पाएंगे. The third point is over here, communication to build company culture. Your communication speaks about your company. If you talk about Tata, if you talk about Reliance, because of their communication, the way they communicate internally, so that actually talks about their culture. Next, coming to this, Means of communication, so I have told you that these are the different means where LSRW should not be forgotten. So where listening is the part, reading is the part, even writing becomes your, verbal communication in written form. Non-verbal also is the part. So all these are the parts of means of communication. So obviously when you would be talking to the person, you could talk over the phone, you could give an SMS or email or whatever. So these are the communications. One thing that you should adhere to, that while you are in the organization, wherever you want this communication to be effective, so you should see that whether you are talking or you are just communicating. Talking is simply where, the other person may not be a good listener, or you may not be a good listener, even when you are when somebody is before you, speaking before you. But over here, when you're communicating, it means your head, ear, everything is there, targeted towards the speaker. And exactly, your brain is working out there, sensing you the signals that yes, whatever is being dealt out here is very much important. So that kind of distinguishing between talking or communication is must for you, because sometimes, the people just talk, for the sake of speaking out. That is not communication. Next, this is very important for the audience out here. When we talk about the power of communication, when you have effective communication, आप लोगों ने खुद देखा होगा, if you find somebody very effective in communication, so definitely the person would be a kind of an asset to the organization. So if he's into marketing, if he's into sales, he's into HR, wherever the role, wherever the department he's performing the role, so basically he would increase the referrals, he would actually talk about the product loyalty. लोगों को अगर वो कहीं पर जाकर खड़ा हो जाएगा तो वो उस प्रोडक्ट की बात करेगा, तो डेफिनेटली उसका जो ट्रस्ट है, वो जो ट्रस्ट है वो कंपनी के ट्रस्ट की भी बात करेगा. Secondly, he can raise the donations out here, he can bring in loyal customers, and he could repeat the purchases. When you talk about repeating the purchases, it means the same customer is purchasing the other item from you. So sales would be increased, the revenue would be increased, and definitely the brand loyalty would increase. So that is the power of communication. So this you must know, when because I told you ki communication is not only the soft skill, or it is not the only soft skill. I must say, I must reiterate, it is not the only soft skill, it is one soft skill that I'm talking about, which actually is in front of you. That elements of these, these are the different elements, where if we divide 100%, only 7% are the spoken words. So that my intention out here is that verbal communication only takes the stake of 7%. The rest of the stake is taken by by body language, 55%. And that means your gesture, your body movements, your posture, everything. Your voice and tone, they contribute to 38%. That is the paralanguage, the pitch and tone that we talk about. So this is the element, and this was given by Dr. Albert Mehrabian, and this is 738-55 rule that is most commonly known. तो हम कभी कभी इस प्रॉब्लम में आ जाते हैं, हमें इंग्लिश नहीं आती, या हम हिंदी में ही बात कर पाते हैं, हमारी इंग्लिश इतनी अच्छी नहीं है. तो बेसिकली इंग्लिश का अच्छा होना, या इंग्लिश आना, या कोई भी और लैंग्वेज आना, वो 7% में आ जाता है. 55% और 38% को हम उस 7% की वजह से ओवरलुक कर जाते हैं, राइट. So this is also important when we talk about clarity in expression. So when we talk about clarity, that is one of the 7 C's of communication that should be taken care of, because clarity means अगर आप clearly बातों को अपनी express नहीं कर सकते, या आप समझ नहीं सकते, तो again I would say it would be a disaster. Okay, so it means your thoughts should be compiled in such a manner that you articulate them. Secondly, I have over here mentioned no jargons. Suppose you are from a field where technical language is often used, but you are actually over here analyzing the audience. एक्सप्रेशन की क्लैरिटी लाने के लिए हमें ऑडियंस एनालिसिस बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. जब हम ऑडियंस को एनालाइज करेंगे, एंड वी वुड सी दैट जब हम यहाँ पर ऑडियंस को एनालाइज करेंगे, एंड वी वुड सी द टाइप ऑफ द ऑडियंस वी हैव द रूरल ऑडियंस, वी हैव द सेमी अर्बन ऑडियंस, और द अर्बन ऑडियंस, वी हैव सम काइंड ऑफ ऑडियंस फ्रॉम द फॉरेन बैकग्राउंड. So definitely we would try to bring in the clarity. And let me just get back to the slide where we were talking about the different aspects of uh, you know of soft skills. So we have covered communication skills here. The next point that I would talk about is your emotional intelligence. But before I move ahead, any question from your side? Yes, any question from your side? Okay, so your silence says that I should move on. So exactly, I am just highlighting this slide. When we talk about emotional intelligence, this is one of the soft skills. See, we are humans. हम लोगों के अंदर emotions हैं. Human soul is full of emotions, and we tend to reflect our emotions, but generally it is said that do not take any decisions when you are too emotional. So it means that you should have balanced emotions. Secondly, you should also check in that you are able to recognize your emotions. आप अपने emotions को पहचान पा रहे हैं, you are able to understand and you are able to use your emotions. तो यहाँ पर emotions को आप अपना एक वीक जोन ना बनाने के बजाय आप उसको अपना एक स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट यहाँ पर बनाइए. बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर having interpersonal interactions, when you're talking about the people, when you are coming in touch with the people, so over here this particular skill of emotional intelligence, it actually may solve different complex situations in the life, because you are dealing with humans after all. Though artificial intelligence is there, but definitely it has been run by or used by people only. When you are running an organization, it's a group of people, homogeneous group of people. So where they all come with different family backgrounds, they have different pressures, different aspirations in their life, and definitely the level of emotions, or you can say the upheaval in them, would be different and would be known or unknown to you. So that is why emotional intelligence is one of the soft skills which needs to be covered. And it is also about being self aware about exactly what your emotions are. Because suppose you are coming from your home and you had a mess at the home early morning, and then you have to take some decision that would be actually cluttering your head, and maybe that you tend to take some kind of wrong decision. So that time I would suggest stop contemplating about taking a decision at that time. Take the decision only when you have a healthy mind, you are not affected by any kind of adversity. Empathy out here, when we talk about, yes, when your colleagues are there, when your team is there, and because again they are humans, so you understand them. Empathy means putting yourself into other shoes. जब हम दूसरे को दूसरे के जूतों में पैर रख कर देखते हैं, अगर हिंदी में बोले, यानी कि हम अपने आप को दूसरों की जगह रख कर देखते हैं रिफाइंड वे में. इट मीन्स वी अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ द कॉन्टेक्स्ट what the person is going through. That is empathy. Social skills, like you are actually gelling up with the people, maybe that you had some kind of mess with somebody. All these are social skills where you need to build a bond with the people, and you need to keep yourself motivated. So that is all about emotional intelligence. Okay, so यहाँ किसी को मुझसे कुछ पूछना है? अगर हम इमोशंस को लेकर यहाँ बात करते हैं, तो if we care about the emotions of people who are interacting with us, so definitely there would be a kind of a bond, you can say a level of trust that would be maintained, and that would ease out the process of working in the organization. Next point, if we move ahead, that is time management. So generally जब हम टाइम मैनेजमेंट की बात करते हैं, तो मैं फिर से वापस आऊंगी अपनी स्क्रीन पे. तो यहाँ पर जब हम टाइम मैनेजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, वेट अ मिनट प्लीज, जब हम यहाँ टाइम मैनेजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, तो आप लोगों को, इवन आई एम नॉट एक्सक्लूडेड, every one of us, because we are humans, so we need we have the tendency that if suppose there we have to submit a report, or if we have to do any kind of work which requires your attention to the detail, तो हम क्या सोचते हैं, अभी टाइम है, अभी कर लेंगे, अभी कर लेंगे. तो एग्जैक्टली उसको क्या कहते हैं, what do we say if we talk about abhi to time hai, abhi kar lenge, or everybody is affected, everybody is a victim, I can say, of this particular deadly disease. So what is that, काम को कल पे टालना, उसको क्या कहेंगे?
Laziness.
Laziness.
lethargic
Okay,
lethargic
that is
attitude.
particularly called procrastination. Okay, and procrastination comes because we evaluate the time at our own level, कि अभी तो इतना टाइम है, अभी कर लेंगे, अभी हो जाएगा, अभी हो जाएगा, अभी हो जाएगा. Right, so that is somewhat I call it a deadly disease. Even I tend to get affected, but yes, with the gracing with the age and the experience, I think I'm trying to cover it up. But ये एक ऐसा कीड़ा है जो हर इंसान के अंदर है, और कहीं ना कहीं 0.01% तो होगा या रहेगा. but as soon as we rectify this particular problem, we are actually giving a kind of a steep hike to our career. So that is something we are talking about. It is you can say प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन. तो जहां प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन होगा, मैं जितने भी स्टूडेंट से बात करती हूँ, या जितने भी मेरे कांटेक्ट में अगर लोग आते हैं, तो दैट्स अ पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस. दे टॉक अबाउट देयर प्रॉब्लम्स, दे कम विद द प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड देयर प्रॉब्लम्स एक्चुअली हैव वन इनसाइड, दैट इज कि उन्होंने टाइम की वैल्यू नहीं की. दैट इज कि उन्होंने टाइम पर कोई काम नहीं करा. दैट मीन्स दैट दे वर द विक्टिम्स ऑफ प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन. सो उनसे टाइम मैनेज नहीं हो पाया. सो कमिंग बैक टू द स्लाइड, कि टाइम अगर मैनेजमेंट टाइम अगर मैनेज नहीं हो पाया, तो वो टाइम ना मैनेज होना, दैट इज पुअर टाइम मैनेजमेंट. एंड वी फेल एक्चुअली टू बी टाइम बाउंड पीपल. So time management, what is that? It means we need to set our priorities. We need to prioritize the time. हम लोगों को अपने टाइम को वैल्यू देने के लिए अपने जो टास्क है उनको प्रायोरिटाइज करना पड़ेगा. एंड मैनेजमेंट का सबसे पहला जो फंडा है, दैट इज प्लानिंग. इफ वी फेल टू प्लान, it means we would actually invest our time in a wrong manner. हम अपने टाइम को सही जगह पर कम इस्तेमाल करेंगे, गलत जगह पर ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करेंगे. So it means that time management also starts with planning, because it is management. Management means managing the things. So when we are managing things, so planning हमेशा एक पहला उसका intrinsic element होगा ही होगा. Secondly, if we set goals, okay, goals, it means we can break the goals. We can break the larger goals to smaller goals, and then we can do some kind of goal setting. We can delegate. हम एक काम हर बंदा सारे काम तो नहीं कर सकता ना. So within an organization, though you are an entrepreneur or you are heading some position, you need people, you need a team of people. That is why the people are employed. So आप अगर अपना वो सारा काम सोचेंगे तो सब कुछ मैं ही करूंगा, you would be left behind. So definitely, to save that time, that particular costliest time, you need to delegate. You need to give the authority to other people, the responsibilities to other people. And you should also set a deadline. You should check yourself again and again, that whether you are actually able to manage the time, whether it is you are following the deadline or not. So टाइम मैनेजमेंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मैं समझती हूँ कि अगर टाइम मैनेजमेंट हम लोग कर लेते हैं, तो हम काफी प्रॉब्लम से बच सकते हैं. द वन थिंग दैट वी वुड सेव आवर सेल्फ इज फ्रॉम स्ट्रेस, क्योंकि फिर हम स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट की बात करेंगे. आई एक्चुअली स्पेशलाइज गिविंग सेशंस ऑन स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट. सो स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट में सबसे बड़ा जो लिक्यूना है, दैट इज टाइम मैनेजमेंट. वी फेल टू मैनेज टाइम, दैट इज व्हाई हम पे स्ट्रेस आया, हमारे ऊपर प्रेशर आया, बिल्डअप हुआ, and we were the victim of stress. So it is all about time management we talk about. So you can optimize the use of time. See, देखिए, God has given 24 hours to everyone. 24 hours का मतलब हर किसी के पास 24 घंटे है. तो आपको क्या करना है 24 घंटे में? वही काम, मोदी जी भी 24 घंटे में कितना काम करते हैं, और हम क्या करते हैं, बाकी क्या करते हैं. सबको भगवान ने 24 घंटे दिए. गॉड हैज नेवर बीन इम्पार्शियल. So it is how we manage time, how we allocate the different hours in our life. That is why time management is one of the soft skills which needs to be learned, which needs to be tailored. So allocating your time according to the task we prioritize, that is very important. So moving ahead, we talk about the problem solving skills. So when we talk about the problem solving skills, definitely nobody is left aloof without any problem in his or her life. हर किसी की लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम्स है. प्रॉब्लम्स एक इंडिविजुअल की लाइफ में भी है, प्रॉब्लम्स एक एंटरप्राइज के लिए भी है, प्रॉब्लम्स एक बडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए भी है. प्रॉब्लम्स हर किसी की लाइफ में, इवन एक बच्चे को भी प्रॉब्लम होती है. बट डू वी हैव दोस स्किल्स टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम? सो बेसिकली उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने में हमें क्या क्या चीजें चाहिए होंगी? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इनिशिएटिव लेना कि हम उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर लेंगे. Critical thinking, analyzing, and strategic thinking, all these things are required out here. You have to identify the issues. For example, you face some kind of problem in your organization, you are not able to you can say revenue earn नहीं हो पा रहा, या सेल्स इंक्रीज नहीं हो पा रही, तो हमें वो एरिया जो है वो फिगर आउट करना है एग्जैक्टली कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ से शुरू हो रही है. तो प्रॉब्लम्स के लिए अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो उसका सोल्यूशन भी है. देयर इज ऑलवेज अ सोल्यूशन टू द प्रॉब्लम, दैट आई बिलीव, एंड दैट इज एक्चुअली प्रूवन आल्सो. So you need to identify what is the root cause, what is the problem actually all about. You have to analyze, you have to, over here again, your teamwork would actually resolve many problems out here. You have to be in time. I'm not saying on time, it is in time. आपको काम अगर समय से करेंगे, समय रहते कर लेंगे, तो प्रॉब्लम्स अपने आप ही मिनिमाइज हो जाएंगी. Next we talk about, you know, solutions के ऊपर अगर हम work करेंगे, if we just keep on hopping about these are different problems and we are not working over the solutions के लिए क्या होगा, only one head won't be required. We need those set of people in our organization. We can ask everybody to contribute to giving the solutions of the problem. And you never know कहाँ से वो एक you know striking feature आए और आपकी प्रॉब्लम का हल कोई एक ऐसा बंदा भी निकाल दे जिसके पास ना पोजीशन है ना पावर है. It depends upon the prior personal experience also. So over here, problems are the challenges, I must say, जो आपकी लाइफ में आते जाते रहेंगे. बिकॉज व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट आवर यू नो आवर लाइफ, सो हम कहते हैं कि ईसीजी में जब भी हमारा मॉनिटरिंग होता है तो हमारी जो हार्ट रेट हार्ट बीट है वो हमेशा ऊपर नीचे आती है. इट इज नेवर अ स्ट्रेट लाइन. Never a straight line means, you know, if it is a straight line, it means you are dead. So it means when you are alive, it means problems have to be a part and parcel of your life. So कोई अपने यहाँ किसी प्रॉब्लम से रिलेटेड कोई मुझे कोई एग्जांपल अगर देना चाहे तो वो मुझे बता सकता है. यस. एक मुझे यहाँ पर इंग्लिश में एक यू नो एक इडियम एक याद आ रहा है, स्टिच इन टाइम सेव्स नाइन. सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जब हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग की बात करते हैं, क्योंकि हम टाइम को अगर मैनेज करेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम्स अपने आप जो हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं वो लिमिटाइज हो जाएंगी. लेकिन येस, इफ प्रॉब्लम नीड्स अवर अटेंशन टू द डिटेल, सो डेफिनेटली देयर हैज टू बी अ प्लान एंड प्रोसेस टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम. There has to be some kind of brainstorming also. I repeat, problems require brainstorming, and it is not only single brain, it is the brain of all the people who are working for the organization. That is why हम लोग betterment के लिए अपने employees से suggestions मांगते हैं. Though they have worked out or not, that is the part of the company to think over. So moving ahead, जब हम बात करेंगे यहाँ पर एक दूसरे सॉफ्ट स्किल की, द इम्पोर्टेंट वन, ऑल आर इम्पोर्टेंट, ऐसा नहीं है कि कौन सा कम इम्पोर्टेंट है कौन सा ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. एवरी स्किल इज इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट. वी टॉक अबाउट लीडरशिप स्किल्स. वी आर वर्किंग फॉर एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. We have the aspiration that definitely with our experience, with our performance, we would be actually you know having some kind of leadership profile or leadership position once in our life. And we would raise our bar to such a level that we become some kind of manager, some kind of you know head, or you can say even you reach to the level of president or vice president, where you are able to actually take decisions. You are having that leadership in your hand. So एक लीडर को क्या करना होता है यहाँ पे, अगर हम बात करें तो हम देखेंगे कि लीडर को क्या करना पड़ता है. लीडर अपने आप में यू नो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल तो रखता ही है, बट अदर देन दैट प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने की क्षमता तो उसमें है ही कि वो अपने एक्सपीरियंस से यू नो आउट ऑफ हिज एक्सपीरियंस, आउट ऑफ हिज एक्सपर्टीज, ही कैन गिव अ बेटर सॉल्यूशन टू द प्रॉब्लम. बट अदर देन दैट इवन इफ a person is not having any kind of power in his hand, any kind of position in his hand, he can in fact change the life of different people by coaching or by mentoring, by managing the things well, and with the strategic thinking. So this is something very important. If you are a manager in a firm, or if you are some kind of you know team leaders, or if you are running an organization, you are an entrepreneur, you have the decision making capability, you are the leader. So that time you have to have this kind of essential soft skill, that this skill is actually ingrained in you. So sometimes you know it is also said that you know leaders are not born, or some have the thrust upon them like this, but it is something that you learn with your experience and the time that you give to your profession. So definitely अगर आप एक लीडर की बात करेंगे तो यहाँ लीडर को आप नेता मत समझिएगा. So leader is somebody who leads, who takes the initiative. तो आप अगर इनिशिएटिव ले सकते हैं, जनरली जब हम ग्रुप डिस्कशन सेशंस करते हैं, वी टेंड टू फाइंड आउट द स्पार्क इन द स्टूडेंट्स और इन द interviewees, who tend to initiate the discussion about a particular topic, and we find that the person is having or has inherited some kind of leadership skills. तो ये एक तरीका है जानने का, ग्रुप डिस्कशन कराने का. बट अदर देन दैट, वो चाहे जॉब इंटरव्यू हो, चाहे किसी कॉलेज में प्लेसमेंट के लिए इंटरव्यू, उसके अलावा भी when we are performing our roles very well, and there comes a time when we need to take some decisions, we need to show our leadership efficiency and capability. तो हम लोगों को वहाँ कुछ चीजों का ध्यान रखना होगा, that we should have certain style of leadership where we should be very amicable. Secondly, over here, communication should be our key. We should have a very courteous communication, and we should know how to actually delegate the work. We should be empathetic towards other people, and we should be thinking strategically. It means हमारी एक foresighted vision होनी चाहिए. अगर foresighted vision नहीं होगी तो वो question भी बेकार है, where do you see 5 years from now? So that is all about the leadership concept. And sorry to disturb you, but I'm not able to see myself because this is a full screen mode. I just want you people to just interact with me. If there is some kind of question in your mind, you can just come up with the question so that we can discuss and we can have a healthy interaction. So this is all about leadership. सो लीडरशिप स्किल्स की हमने जैसे बात करी कि कोलैबोरेशन भी लीडरशिप का एक पार्ट है. लीडरशिप इज नॉट बीइंग अबाउट बॉसी, it's about how to delegate the task or the work to different people according to their skills and capability. It's not being about अगर किसी को ये सुनना पसंद है, yes boss, yes boss. It's not about leadership. Leadership is about having the capacity to understand the people's point of view and then giving them a vision to lead. So that is all about leadership skills. Moving ahead. Yes, collaboration again would come into this leadership skills, where I wanted to add this point, collaboration. Collaboration के लिए दो चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. हम कोलैबोरेट क्यों करते हैं यहाँ पर? कोलैबोरेट करने के लिए होगा कि हम किसी भी टास्क को अच्छी तरीके से अब कम टाइम में कर सकें, राइट, एंड विद मिनिमम एफर्ट्स हम लोग उस टास्क को एफिशिएंटली कर सकें. कोलैबोरेट करने से हमारी ब्रांड वैल्यू भी बढ़ेगी, एसोसिएशन बढ़ेगा, हमारे कॉन्टैक्ट्स बढ़ेंगे. सो डेफिनेटली व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट कोलैबोरेशन वी नीड टू थिंक ओवर द टीम वर्क. नाउ टीम वर्क जो है वो क्या फायदा करेगा यहाँ पर? टीम वर्क में हेल्प इन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन ऑल्सो. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट में जो अपने आप में एक स्किल है, उसमें अगेन टीम वर्क का एक रोल प्ले होता है, that we need to actually find out resolution for any kind of conflict. So वो teamwork के through ही हो पाता है. And if we are basically dedicated to teamwork, then there would be chances where we can mediate also. We are accountable for different things. We are able to collaborate with other people. जैसे collaboration होता है brands का होता है. अब ये हम अगर बात ही कर लें कि हमारा जो ये प्रोग्राम हो रहा है ये क्या है, कोलैबोरेशन ही तो है. डीएसटी ने स्पॉन्सर किया है और एमआईटी उसको परफॉर्म करा रहा है, उसको प्रेजेंट कर रहा है. दैट्स अ कोलैबोरेशन. So MIT is also gaining some kind of skills and experience and expertise in running such kind of programs, and DST is actually delegating the task. So it is all about the collaboration where ideas are nurtured, where the information is sought after, it is delivered, and in the same way all these efforts, efforts may lead to some kind of teamwork only. Or you can say there could be a better understanding. People would be able to understand each other well in an organization. Secondly, जब हम कोलैबोरेशन की बात करते हैं, लीडर के ऊपर ये रोल भी आता है कि वो कोलैबोरेट कैसे कर रहा है. कोलैबोरेशन का टारगेट क्या है? बेसिकली इट इज नेटवर्किंग. अगर हम नेटवर्किंग करते हैं, वी गो टू डिफरेंट इवेंट्स, वी आर ओवर हियर एट दिस प्लेटफॉर्म, 30 to 40 people are there. So it is what? It is networking. We are building relationships, though you are all our silent audience right now, but you come to know, you through this platform you have come to know me, and over here seeing your profile pics and all, I have come to know you people, and I have come to know the management and the employees of MIT. That is about building and maintaining the relationship with the people. And according to this approach, we can see that some relevant ideas, some insights and information are being shared, so that it adds up to our profile also. So next I would talk about adaptability. जब हम adaptation की बात करते हैं, बायोलॉजिकल टर्म है, वहां से हम adaptability की बात करते हैं. सो अडेप्टेबिलिटी मीन्स कि आप कितने ज्यादा अपने आप को फ्लेक्सिबल बनाते हो कि किसी भी एनवायरनमेंट में आप फटाफट से मिक्स हो जाते हो. So it means suppose you have joined a new organization, okay, and you might not, you might be feeling estranged in the early days, in the on the day 1 or 2, but then you would be finding the colleagues around, they would be giving you that kind of positive environment, they would be coming to say you hi and hello, and you would be trying to mix up well with those people. That is adaptability. Adaptability अगर हमारे अंदर नहीं होगी, it means we are not resilient. नाउ रेसिलियंट का एक एग्जांपल यहाँ मैं बहुत अच्छा देना चाहूंगी. वी वर स्ट्रक बाय कोरोना एंड एवरीवन माइट हैव सफर्ड सम, द लॉस ऑफ सम ऑफ द डियर वंस और नियर वंस. सो एग्जैक्टली हुआ क्या कि we got a jerk through this was a natural, it was a pandemic. So exactly what happened, after the things started recovering, we got back to the normal life. So that normalcy that we could got back to, that was adaptability. We, though the loss of loved one is something, you can say irreparable, but हमने उसके उस sadness, उस pain के साथ जीना सीख लिया. So that is adaptability. तो यहाँ पर अगर हम adaptability का example और देंगे, तो जैसे एक rubber band होता है, ओके, इट हैज इलास्टिसिटी. तो रबर बैंड को खींचो, वो खींच जाता है और उसके बाद वापस अपनी शेप में आ जाता है. एडेप्टेबिलिटी में ही वो भी यहाँ पर एनकाउंटर होगा. लाइक यू आर गेटिंग योरसेल्फ अकस्टम्ड एंड you can say mixed up with the environment that you are working right now, or you are trying to change suppose. So definitely adaptability उसका एक बहुत बड़ा पार्ट होगा. जितना इसमें कहेंगे the sooner the better. If you are able to adapt to the process, you are able to adapt to the environment of the organization. So jitni jaldi ho sake, you would give better results, you would perform much better out there. So that is the concept of adaptability out here. Adaptability jahan hogi, definitely you would be one of the strongest contributor towards the growth of that organization. So over here all those new conditions would come, before you people, you how ready, how quick you are to adapt to those changes would actually talk about one of the soft skills called adaptability. So adaptability मैं समझती हूँ एक जैसे छोटा बच्चा है, उस आई थिंक हमारे लाइफ प्रोसेस में तब से अडेप्टेबिलिटी हमें आनी चाहिए, या इंडिविजुअल भी हमें वो चीज बचपन से केटर करनी चाहिए, खुद में भी और अपने बच्चों में भी. सो दिस इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज देर आर पीपल, हमने सुना है ना, लाइक जो वृक्ष होते हैं, जो फलदार वृक्ष होते हैं, जैसे वो झुक जाते हैं, और जो खड़े रहते हैं पेड़, वो आंधी तूफान जब आता है तो वो खत्म हो जाते हैं, टूट जाते हैं. तो अडेप्टेबिलिटी अगर काम करेगी, तो अगर कोई भी हमारे साथ अनफोर्सीन सर्कमस्टांस आएगा तो हम उसमें अडेप्ट कर जाएंगे, राइट. और अगर हम लोग मूव करने को मना कर देते हैं, इफ वी कांट एक्चुअली फिक्स आवरसेल्व्स, so definitely it would be our loss, and our loss means the loss of our organization also. You would actually miss certain opportunities if you are not adaptable. So अगर हम यहाँ मार्केटिंग प्रोफेशनल का, यहाँ मैंने एक एग्जांपल दिया है, जितना भी अगर हम बात करते हैं कि डिजिटाइजेशन हो रहा है, सो वी आर, पहले के जमाने में क्या था कि हम लोग रुपए पैसे लेकर चलते थे, करेंसी लेते थे, ओके. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, वी स्टार्टेड यूजिंग ऑनलाइन ट्रांसफर, नेट बैंकिंग एंड ऑल. अब आप देखोगे, इफ यू गो, इफ यू क्रॉस द रोड्स, यू वुड फाइंड दोस वेंडर्स, द लोकल वेंडर्स आउटसाइड, ओके. तो हर किसी के पास, इवन मेरे घर के बाहर एक मूंगफली वाला बैठता है, तो उसके पास भी पेटीएम का कोड रखा हुआ है या गूगल पे का कोड रखा हुआ है. दिस इज हाउ यू आर अडेप्टिंग योरसेल्फ टू द टेक्नोलॉजी. So that is something, if you adapt yourself well, so it means that you are growing with the time, you are giving enough chances for yourself, means for the growth, that you grow with the time, and that scalability comes, that kind of growth in terms of revenue may also be reflected. So मैं बीच में एक बार escape करके, और let me just see you people. Yes. I hope you people are enjoying the session.
Yes, ma'am, too much. We are really enjoying.
All of you please just send me a thumbs up, because मैं आप लोगों को नहीं देख पा रही हूँ. इवन यहाँ तो मुझे दिख रहा है कि कौन कौन है, बट थैंक यू आकांक्षा, थैंक यू आरती. Okay.
It is really a wonderful session till date, I must say that.
Thank you so much, sir. And this is, I must just share a little bit of information. Like I am I run an institute with the name of Masterclass Institute of Skill Development. So I am expanding it, taking it to a larger level, and we have acquired a space at RG Degree College Road, which would be catering to different kind of competitions, academics, and international admissions as well. So just pray for me that it goes well. That is somewhat, I am adapting myself, to the need of the hour. So like there is something entrepreneur insight in me that wanted to work over. So let's just connect back. So we are right now, we were discussing about adaptability. हम लोग, मैं समझती हूँ कि जब तक हम एक उसको लाइफ एग्जाम्पल से रिलेट नहीं करते सर, तो वो चीज में एक इंटरेस्ट नहीं आ पाता, एज एन ऑडियंस ऑल्सो आई फील. सो यहाँ से हम एडेप्टेबिलिटी के आगे अगर हम बात करते हैं, वर्क एथिक्स. I included this concept of work ethics because if you are, you are a professional, though you are an entrepreneur or you are working for an organization, it doesn't differ. But अगर हम वर्क एथिक्स की बात करेंगे, तो आप अपना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रन करना चाह रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपने एक नया कोई स्टार्टअप जो है वो शुरू किया है, तो एग्जैक्टली वो आपको एक रूटीन में तो आना पड़ेगा ना. तो वही चीज, अगर मैं अपने ऊपर भी एग्जाम्पल ले लूं, अगर मैं एक इंस्टीट्यूट को एक बड़े लेवल पे लेकर जा रही हूँ, सो इट वुड रिक्वायर मी ऑल्सो टू फॉलो द वर्क एथिक्स. दैट वुड बी सम काइंड ऑफ पंक्चुअलिटी, रिलायबिलिटी, प्रोफेशनलिज्म, डिसिप्लिन, all these points that I have noted down here. One thing more that I have observed with my own experience, the thing that you work for others. Okay, like you are on a 9 to 5 job, it means you make up your mind that this is my time regime, from 9 to 5 I'm here and the rest is my own world. Okay, so you fix yourself कि मुझे 9 से 5 के बीच में काम करना है. Sometimes it happens that you carry your work to home, or whatever, the meetings are delayed. Other than this, if you are an entrepreneur, you are starting your own organization, you are working for yourself, I think it requires a hell lot of time. It requires sleepless nights, and it requires the morning call also, that you have to be on your toes since the very morning. You have to delegate, you have to assign responsibilities, you have to take work from others, you have to meet the clients, the customers, everything. I think अपना काम करने में ज्यादा input रहता है, other than being on a job. Because I have been on a job, I have realized, and I have been an entrepreneur, you can say. So I have realized this kind of reality. So definitely, anywhere, if you work, you talk about work ethics, these are going to be one of the soft skills, because this actually relates to how people take you. Like, if you want people to take you seriously, so definitely you have to be punctual, you have to be reliable, you have to have a professionalism approach. It means not taking the things in a very dilly-dallying manner, and you have to be disciplined. It gives you an attitude where people actually find that this person is not easy to deal with, and we should not actually put up some kind of you can say funny or humorous elements, and we should not actually crack a joke on him or her. So वर्क एथिक्स से क्या होता है कि आप अपने आप को एक ब्रांड बना देते हो, आपकी जो इमेज है वो पर्सोनिफाई हो जाती है. इट मींस वी आर वर्किंग ऑन ब्रांड, वी आर वर्किंग ऑन इमेज बिल्डिंग. वर्क एथिक्स से आपकी इमेज बिल्ड होती है. मैं यहाँ पर रिलेट करूंगी कि आप अपने आप की ब्रांडिंग कर रहे हैं. इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग सर्टेन वर्क एथिक्स, योर वर्क वुड बी ऑन टाइम, so definitely you would be valued by your senior, you would be appreciated. Your colleagues or your subordinates would actually look up to you if they are in any problem, or if they want to actually find a person who can exemplify. So definitely आप ही का चेहरा उनको नजर आएगा. So work ethics are so important, where we talk about your commitment towards your profession or your organization. Work ethics नहीं होंगे तो वही again same thing I would say, time management भी नहीं हो पाएगा. So it makes you a reliable person, it makes you Mr. Dependable or Miss Dependable. So if suppose your boss is actually is requiring some help out of his own personal need even, तो सबसे पहले दिमाग में आप ही का चेहरा आएगा, आप ही की इमेज आएगी. So work ethics play like this, they work like magic. What I have observed them, in a personal way also. आप लोगों, because you all are professionals, some might be some budding entrepreneurs, some might be into the universities or colleges as professors or doing some or the other thing. Definitely work ethics always plays a key role, where you talk about accountability, where you talk about commitment. So over here, you can even face some kind of challenges when you talk about, you can say, work ethics. So any kind of pressure would be some surmounting over your head, that would be easily dealt with. So that is the role of work ethics. Next, when we talk about critical thinking, अब हमने यहाँ क्रिटिकल वर्ड यूज करा है, क्रिटिकल केयर यूनिट भी होती है. सो दिस इज समथिंग, क्रिटिकल वर्ड आ गया तो हम थिंकिंग को क्रिटिकल कैसे समझे. एग्जैक्टली दिस इज अ टॉपिक. कभी मुझे भी लगता था क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग होता क्या है. तो क्रिटिकल यहाँ क्या है, क्रिटिक वर्ड से भी बनता है कि कई लोग क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं. इट इज नॉट दैट. क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग का हो गया यहाँ पर कि आप सूक्ष्म रूप से उसको सोच रहे हैं. यू आर एक्चुअली लॉजिकली थिंकिंग अबाउट अ पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम. सो उस लॉजिकल थिंकिंग में क्या होगा कि आप पूरा एनालाइज करेंगे कि ये क्यों हुआ. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर सेल्स डाउन जा रही है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपके फॉलोअर्स नहीं बढ़ रहे हैं, आपके कस्टमर्स नहीं बढ़ रहे हैं, तो आप एनालाइज करेंगे कि आपकी आपकी पूरे प्रोसेस में कहाँ पर फॉल्ट रही है, कहाँ पर लूप होल्स रहे हैं. यू वुड इवेल्युएट द प्रोसेस. मे बी दैट यू सी द your competitors also, like if they are doing well and if you are not doing well, you would actually compare out there, and you would then narrow down. Deductive reasoning yahi hota hai. You would narrow down to some kind of conclusion, and you would actually start working over the resolution of the problem. So that is over here the critical thinking. So I have written these short notes, so while I'm speaking you can even read. So this is about one point that I would read over here, that when making informed decisions, this particular skill of critical thinking, it allows you to weigh available options and consider potential outcomes. यानी कि हम जितने भी options होंगे उनमें से बेस्ट ऑप्शन को हम चूज करेंगे, एक पूरा एनालिसिस करने के बाद, ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करने के बाद, और उसका एक पोटेंशियल आउटकम को, जो एक विजन हम रखेंगे, उसको भी हम यहाँ पर माइंड करेंगे. सो ओवर हियर ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग में आपके कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स भी होंगे, आपके आर्ग्यूमेंट्स भी होंगे, राइट. आपको फ्लॉस पता चलेंगे. क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग इज सच इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, वेयर विद द हेल्प ऑफ टीम वर्क some kind of brainstorming can be done, and you can reach to a consensus where you can say you can come out to a positive outcome. Okay, that what should be the plan, that we should now think over the positive results. Okay. नेक्स्ट, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट. आई डिस्कस्ड अर्लियर कि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट में एम्पैथी आएगी, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन आएगा. दीज आर द इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी टॉपिक्स और स्किल्स आई कैन से. अगर आप कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को सॉर्ट आउट कर सकते हैं, इट मीन्स आपके अंदर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को मैनेज करने की क्षमता है. इवन द नेगोशिएशन स्किल्स, नेगोशिएट करते टाइम हम लोग कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में आ जाते हैं. ओके, सो दैट इज द ईगो इशू ऑल्सो दैट वी मे बिल्ड अप. हमें हमारे इंटरनली ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में दो टीम्स के बीच में पैचअप नहीं हो पा रहा, एंड वी नीड टू एक्चुअली मीडिएट दोस, बिकॉज अदरवाइज अवर वर्क वुड बी अफेक्टेड. Okay, so these are different adverse conditions where we talk about dealing with the conflict. We talk about dealing with the conflict, and these are the different points that we should talk about. Empathy, we should talk about negotiation or mediation or conflict resolution. So exactly, conflict management में एक role और होगा, that how amiable you are, how amicably you actually deal with the problems or with the situations. सिचुएशनल एनालिसिस एक चीज होता है कि आप सिचुएशन को एनालाइज तो कर रहे हैं, बट आप यहाँ पर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को मैनेज नहीं कर पा रहे. अगर आप कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को मैनेज कर पाएंगे यहाँ पर, तो क्या होगा, आपके अंदर एम्पैथी आएगी. यू वुड बी थिंकिंग फ्रॉम अदर्स पर्सपेक्टिव ऑल्सो. So all these things require a human heart. In fact, again I would say emotions यहाँ पर आ जाएंगे. तो conflict को अगर आपको manage करना है, तो you have to be you need to have empathy, you need to learn some kind of negotiation skills where you are not at a loss actually. And इससे क्या होगा, आप जब conflict resolve करते हैं, आप उसको manage कर पाते हैं, तो आप क्या करते हैं यहाँ पे, आप आपके परफॉर्मेंस से ये दिखता है कि आप यहाँ पर कोलैबोरेट करना चाह रहे हैं. ओके आप मीडिएशन करा रहे हैं तो आप कोलैबोरेशन कराना चाह रहे हैं, इनफैक्ट एक बाकी जितना भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में लोग हैं, दे गेट अ सेंस ऑफ यूनिटी in them. It actually inflicts instills a sense of unity in them. But yes, again I would say, because this is all about management, it needs good communication skill. And even while you are resolving a conflict, you need to listen to the people effectively. You don't need to be a good speaker so that you can decide and tell somebody. But आपको ये किसी ने एक मौका दिया है कि आप डिसाइड करें, डिसीजन मेकिंग दें या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को मैनेज करें, रिजॉल्व करें, तो उससे पहले आपको दूसरे को सुनना पड़ेगा. It means you need to have patience, you need to have you can say patience के साथ साथ आपको यहाँ पर you have to be a good listener. Don't just hear, just listen to it effectively. So these are all the things when we talk about conflict management. Next, again, why are soft skills important? अभी अगर हमने बात करी कि हमने जितने भी स्किल्स हमने अभी सीखी हैं या ऑलरेडी वी नो, एक हमने उस पर इंसाइट देखा है अपना, तो एग्जैक्टली ये जितनी भी स्किल्स हैं, लाइक ये स्किल्स जरूरी क्यों है? क्या कोई मेरे साथ यहाँ पर इंटरेक्ट कर पाएगा कि ये स्किल्स जरूरी क्यों है? सॉफ्ट स्किल्स जो हैं वो जरूरी क्यों है, हालांकि ये इनविजिबल हैं और इंटेंजिबल हैं. पावर स्किल्स हैं, और दीज आर पर्सनल इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स, दीज आर पावर और पीपल स्किल्स. सो व्हाई आर दीज इम्पोर्टेंट?
Ma'am, I think these are important because hard skills can be learned. There are plenty of men. We can read, write, and
Yes.
we can take the classes and all that. But these are the skills which is very, 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 very difficult to learn, and we can't imitate them. Or this is very necessary skills. ये अगर
Definitely.
हमें आती होंगी तो we can be successful by grabbing the hard skill. But hard skill होने के बाद, if we don't know these kind of skill, we can't be successful in our life. This is my
Right.
viewpoint.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? Why soft skills are important?
Yeah, it actually creates a positive work environment, which I feel, because it is having all the crucial elements of time management, critical thinking, communication,
Mhm.
teamwork, and more.
See, I give you an example. If you talk about a person who is an MBA, and there are two people, in fact, those both of them are MBA. They are from some good institute, and यहाँ पर एक बंदा जो है, he is well paid. He is now the manager of a company, and they both started their career all together. But the other person is still suffering. He is lagging. Okay, उसका पे स्केल नहीं बढ़ा, उसकी पोजीशन नहीं हुई, उसको प्रमोशन नहीं मिला, एंड ही इज जस्ट कर्सिंग हिमसेल्फ कि मुझ में क्या कमी है, क्या कमी है. तो वो जो कर्ज कर रहे हैं ना अपने आप को कि मुझ में क्या कमी है, that is something that I'm talking about, the importance of soft skills. So maybe the person who is at a higher level now, getting much better salary, or you can say has joined some better company, so it means that somewhere he has worked on his soft skills, somewhere he has worked on his negotiation skills, on his decision making, on his leadership skills, on his conflict management skills, collaboration, or you can say communication skills, right? So all these are different aspects which, if taken care of, so they can actually give you a kind of a catapult reaction. Catapult reaction matlab ki you can just that if suppose if you ask a question 5 years from now, aap apne aap se पूछेंगे कि where do I see myself 5 years from now, and if you get adapted to these soft skills, so you can see a kind of a you can say a surge into your career. Okay, your career might surge over here. That would be a catapult reaction, I would say. तो एकदम से बिल्कुल अर्श से नहीं, क्या कहेंगे, फर्श से अर्श पे पहुंच जाने वाली बात जो होती है, वो आई थिंक सॉफ्ट स्किल्स का काम है यहाँ पर. इफ यू आर गेटिंग नोटिस्ड, इट मीन्स योर सॉफ्ट स्किल्स आर वर्किंग. If you're getting promotions, even your soft skills are working. Though this is the place, this is the world of psychophancy and favoritism, I can say. But other than this, if you talk about individuals competencies, तो ये competencies जरूर उसको अपने technical skills और competencies के अलावा उसको it would take him to some other level, an edge over other people. So let's just connect back with the same perspective out here. Why are soft skills important? सो फर्स्ट पॉइंट तो हमने देख ही लिया कि मैंने आपको यहाँ कम्युनिकेशन के ऊपर पूरा एक इम्पोर्टेंट आउटलाइन दिया है. व्हाई आर सॉफ्ट स्किल्स इम्पोर्टेंट? बिकॉज हमारी सॉफ्ट स्किल्स में कम्युनिकेशन ही मेन चीज है. हम लोगों से कनेक्ट करते हैं कम्युनिकेट करके ही. सो दैट इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड वी शुड टॉक अबाउट बिल्डिंग स्ट्रॉन्ग रिलेशनशिप्स. वो रिलेशनशिप्स कैसे बनेंगी? डेफिनेटली वी हैव टू बी एमिएबल, वी हैव टू हैव all those 7 C's imbibed into our personality. Then problem solving and adaptability, leadership and teamwork. So these are the different you can say these why the soft skills are important. ये जवाब हमारे पास खुद है, और हमें क्यों ये सीखना है. अगर हमें राइज करना है तो दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप लीडरशिप स्किल्स अगर नहीं रखेंगे तो आप स्टैग्नेट कर जाएंगे. Definitely you all have aspirations, you won't be actually liking to work on a particular on the same level. So if you have to rise along with the standard, along with the pay raise and everything, so it means that you have to adapt yourself to these soft skills. So let me just come down. This was all about communication. So just a minute, only some. I am just looking at the paucity of time. I was given less time actually. So let us just connect from here. Yes, how do you develop and improve soft skills? हमें पता है कि अब ये इतनी सारी soft skills हैं, तो हम उन्हें डेवलप कैसे करें? आपके पास everybody would give you this knowledge that these are the different soft skills, and you should imbibe them in your personality, you should learn them somehow, and you should develop in them so that you grow further in your career, in your life, and you get some some better pay scale, some better job opportunities, or some you rise in your career, right? But how to develop and improve those soft skills? This is not a degree that you can earn. Though, like I say that I am a certified soft skills trainer, that is a certification I went through. I am a certified coach, so that is a certification that I went through. That is something where I can help people in improvising themselves. But how do you learn them? Like imbibing them into your personality. All you should do actually, you should look forward to improving your soft skills. So first thing I would say, that is your self analysis. हम बात करते हैं introspection की. And when we talk about introspection, so generally people are management people out here, we talk about SWOT analysis. I have not mentioned in the PowerPoint, but exactly this is very important. SWOT analysis means strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. हम वहां से अगर एक बेसिक शुरू करेंगे अपने आप को खोजना, our self evaluation and analysis, that would be wonderfully working for us. So this is one point. Second is, we fail or we actually stagnate when we don't have goals in our life. तो अगर हमने अपना कुछ उद्देश्य, कुछ गोल्स, एम्स, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स कुछ रखे ही नहीं है, तो it won't matter to us whether we are stagnating, we are sailing on the same water or not. So it means that goals are very important in your life to rise to the next level. Then seeking feedback. फीडबैक इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कम्युनिकेशन में भी जो है, अगर सर्कुलर फ्लो की बात करते हैं, तो टू वे कम्युनिकेशन बिकम्स ओनली इफेक्टिव व्हेन the communication gets a feedback or a reply or a response. तो वहां सर्कुलर फ्लो की बात हो रही है, बट दिस इज जनरली अबाउट योर पर्सनालिटी, अबाउट यू बीइंग एन इंडिविजुअल, कि आपके अंदर क्या कमी है, क्या नहीं है. लिसन टू योर कलीग्स, लिसन टू योर फ्रेंड्स एंड रिलेटिव्स, योर वेल विशर्स, दोज हु मे गिव यू द एक्चुअल फीडबैक. बट यहाँ पर you can say recognizing the real people, that is also a big task. So you should not be swayed away by those negative feedbacks or criticisms, but yes, criticism should be taken in a very healthy manner. So feedback हमारे लिए बहुत important है, because it gives a chance for us to improve. Looking in, you can say introspecting, अपने अंदर झांकना, इसको कहेंगे कि हम आत्म विश्लेषण अगर करेंगे, तो वो चीज हमें फीडबैक अपने आप भी देगा, लेकिन अगर हम दूसरे लोगों से अपना फीडबैक मांगेंगे तो हमें वो चीज भी हेल्प करेगा सॉफ्ट स्किल्स जो हमारे अंदर कमी है उनको सीखने की. So definitely we are having some good set of people around us who are really your well wishers. At this age you might be recognizing them, so these people may give you the right feedback. I even get some kind of feedback, and I take all the feedback in a very healthy manner. Like if there is some kind of shortcoming, yeah, mere andar kuch kami hai, if somebody is telling me, so I never argue. It is somewhat how adaptive you are, how you can say open you are to the feedback. Then continuous learning in process. Definitely I'm learning till today. I think all of you must be learning till today. So it is somewhat you learn and you make a practice to keep learning and performing. And next is your soft skills training, that the certification that I was talking about, that is for those people, those who actually want to go into the same field, who have the interest of connecting with the people. मेरा इंटरेस्ट है कि मुझे लोगों से कनेक्ट करना, बातें करना बहुत पसंद है, और उनको जानना बहुत पसंद है. So it is something, my flair to connect with the people, that got me into this field, in the field of communication or soft skills or career counseling like this. और इसको हम पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट में भी मेंशन कर सकते हैं. सो नेक्स्ट आई वुड से self awareness and assessment. Self awareness mein again, I have cut short the points actually. Self awareness, when we talk about it, is आप अपने आप को एक real judgment दो. Okay, don't praise yourself for the wrong things, or don't find excuses actually. If you are finding excuses out here, it means you would never learn, you would never improve. And if you are actually defending yourself out here, so don't defend. If some friend tells you, you should work over this skill, you should learn this, or this was your mistake, so please don't defend yourself. You are getting offensive to your friend, so next time your friend would not even help you, telling you about all this thing. Okay, he or she is a kind of a mirror to you. अब mirror तो आपसे नहीं बोलेगा ना कि तुम में ये कमी है. It won't happen like this. So in the same way, your colleagues would be your friends, your mentors that I have mentioned here. They are your real well wishers, those who will give you the feedback. So keep asking the feedback from these people. Be open to receiving the feedback, whether it be kind of a criticism. And सच बताऊं ना, तो feedback पॉजिटिव कभी सिर्फ एक मोटिवेशन देता है. असली जो हमारा इम्प्रूवमेंट है वो हमेशा क्रिटिसिज्म या आलोचना से होता है. क्रिटिसिज्म से आपको अपनी फॉल्ट पता चलती है. If you really take it to your heart, then work on those kinds of improvements out here. So one area is self awareness and assessment. तो assessment के लिए आप अपना, और assessment सिर्फ आपका अपना नहीं हो सकता, SWOT analysis से आपके अपने organization का भी हो सकता है. और this year to next year हो सकता है, this year to previous year हो सकता है. Like next year के लिए आप goal set करेंगे definitely, that better from now on. So this is how your self assessment can work. नेक्स्ट इज सेटिंग गोल्स. व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट गोल्स, तो गोल्स के ऊपर मैं यहाँ शेयर कर सकती थी, बट आई डिडंट इंटेंशनली. वी टॉक अबाउट स्मार्ट गोल्स. हम कहते हैं कि दिस इज नॉट द टाइम व्हेन वी वर्क हार्ड, बट वी शुड वर्क स्मार्ट. इट इज नॉट लाइक दिस. पीपल टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड. It is about, when we talk about smart goals, smart is an acronym out here. Acronym means एक short form है, where S stands for out here is specific. Your goal should be specific, vague ना हो. ओके, मिसलीडिंग ना हो. जितना ज्यादा स्पेसिफिक गोल होगा, you see the dart game, you hit the center. So in the same way, your goal has to be very specific. Then you have to have a measurable goal. Your goal can be measured, कि आज मैंने इतना करा है, तो 6 महीने में मेरी कितनी ग्रोथ हो जाएगी. 1 year later, I would see myself at this place like this. Then A is for attainable, and even A also talks about achievable. ऐसे गोल्स ना हो कि जो अचीवेबल ना हो, क्योंकि यहाँ अचीवेबल से अगर गोल अचीवेबल नहीं है तो वो रियलिस्टिक नहीं है. योर गोल्स मस्ट बी रियलिस्टिक. सो दिस आर स्टैंड्स फॉर रेलेवेंट एज वेल एज फॉर रियलिस्टिक. सो इफ योर गोल्स आर रियलिस्टिक, ठीक है, तो दे कैन बी अटेनेबल, दे कैन बी अटेन्ड. बट इफ दे आर नॉट रियलिस्टिक, द गोल मे बी अनअटेनेबल. ऐसे अनअटेनेबल गोल को रख कर या सोच कर आप अपने आप को सिर्फ मिसगाइड करेंगे. एंड टी इज योर टाइम बाउंड. नाउ सी टाइम मैनेजमेंट का ऑप्शन यहाँ पर भी आ गया. व्हेन यू आर सेटिंग योर गोल्स, इट हैज टू बी अ टाइम बाउंड्री, राइट. इट हैज टू बी टाइम स्पेसिफिक, कि इतने दिन में मुझे इतना करना है. if you are pursuing some kind of master's degree, MBA करते हो, तो वो 2 साल में ही तो पूरा होगा ना. वो एक स्पेसिफिक एक टारगेट है, टाइम बाउंड है कि 2 साल में करना है. In the same way, if you have to if you have to earn revenue this much, like last year हमारा इतने $1 million का था revenue, this year we should exceed by this. So start planning, start assessing, start finding out the loopholes, and that would actually get you to that time bound target, that we should achieve this much of revenue somehow by by this date or this month or this year. So it is somewhat, when we are talking about setting goals out here. So यू कैन से एक इसमें एक बेहतर एग्जाम्पल है कि कम्युनिकेशन गोल्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं, पीपल कम टू मी फॉर लर्निंग स्पीकिंग इन इंग्लिश. सो उनका भी एक गोल रखा जाता है. नाउ एवरीबडी कैन नॉट बी यू कैन से मेजर्ड एट अ सेम स्केल. So we have to find out that the person may be able to learn within 3 months or within 6 months or a year. It depends upon his own competency, upon his own background. So that is how, you can say that if you want to really improve your communication skills, so this much time you require, so you have to dedicate yourself. So goals also need dedication out here. Next is seeking feedback, as we discussed. Feedback again, reply, response, or feedback. Feedback again may be, a kind of a criticism, a kind of a praise or appreciation. It's up to you how you take it. So if you take it into kind of, it's a self assessment tool also. Generally, जब trainings होती हैं तो हम उनको training का भी feedback लेते हैं. जैसे ये session है, this session would also actually gather some kind of feedback, where the trainer was faulty, where the trainer was good, and all. And if it comes to me, then I should not actually see it as a kind of a disgrace. I should actually be very much open and welcoming to improve myself, because I have to be in this field, so consistency would get me out there. So I have to embrace all those changes in me, right? So next is continuous learning and practice that we discussed about. Upgrade yourself, because जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी है, हर 6 महीने में नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाती है. Are we really apprehensive of the fact, right? That this technology may not change actually, but yes, the technology will change. Okay, we started from those big room size computers and to our mobiles now, and screens getting smaller, and the investment, or you can say the payment facilities, from those hard cash to online transfers. It means that we have been perceptive of the change. We have been, you can say, welcoming the change, and we have been proactive in this matter. So it means continuous learning also helps to be updated in the field of our domain. Like in the domain, for example, I need to learn, I recently got through Six Sigma. So that is how I actually multiplied my skill. So in the same way, we should keep learning new and different things, so that we are in the market. Agar market mein rehna hai, tikna hai, so you have to update yourself. Like if I talk about, I am a British Council certified coach. I brush my knowledge every day. I learn some new words every day. I have not stopped learning English, because English is very vast. So because I have a kind of a panache, or you can say some kind of interest towards English out here. So I cannot actually kill it in myself that ab to certificate le liya, ab ho gaya. No, it is not like this. If you have to be an edge over other people, your continuous learning and practice would actually help you. Next, when we talk about, so this is all about how you should do. If I come back, that first is you talk about learning resources, then role models. If you agar aapko kuch seekhna hai, aap find out some person, some organization, some person who is somewhat at a higher level. Okay, and make him or make her a kind of a role model for you. इफ यू आर सेटिंग अप एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, तो किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को अपना रोल मॉडल बना के चलिए, उस चीज पर आप अपना काम करिए. सो आप उनको स्टडी करेंगे, उनका बिहेवियर पता चलेगा, उनका अप्रोच पता चलेगा. सो यू वुड एक्चुअली ट्राई टू एक्चुअली वॉक ऑन देयर स्टेप्स, मूव ऑन देयर स्टेप्स, एंड दैट वुड be very helpful to you. In the same way, keep practicing. And the fourth one is journaling, means registering your progress, penning down what you have done till today. Some people have the habit of diary writing. I think they do very well in their life. So this is somehow, uh, this why this soft skill is important. तो उसमें जो part है कि continuous learning and practice हमें चाहिए, that is one of the reasons. So this is all about, I think I have finished in time. Yes, sir, over to you. I hope this program gave you an insight about what are different soft skills, why are they important, what are the advantages, how do you can benefit yourself. So, any questions from your side?
Ma'am, I must say that again, no words, how to conclude it and how to describe it. And I'm thinking to make you my role model.
Oh,
This
sir,
is
I'm
my
so blessed, but I need to learn a lot from you. In
Uh,
fact,
definitely, definitely. Just because of time constraint, this is something that we are inviting for the our second guest. But the thing is कि ऐसा लग रहा है कि मानो आपका सेशन चलता रहे और हम लोग सुनते रहें बस ये ऐसे ही
thank
होता
you so
रहे.
much for this compliment. But this, because this is a Q&A round, I would like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
audience out here to interact with me. Just let me know, like my introspection if I find out.
I request all the audience at least matlab, to have interaction with the ma'am regarding this session. Any queries, anything you have in your mind?
Yes, all are welcome. Any question from anybody? Any kind of query that I may be helpful with?
Thank you, ma'am. The session was like very wonderful. No words for you.
Thank you so
Pretty
much,
you.
Akanksha.
Missing you so much.
We are all
Ma'am,
around. We are always connected.
one question is there in my mind. I just wanted to know the difference between behavior of the person and the soft skills.
Behavior and
Behavior and the soft skills. How can it differ? I mean,
sir, when we talk about behavior, so we talk about behavioral skills, right?
okay,
So when we talk about behavioral skills, that again falls into the category of soft skills, because your behavior only impresses or makes or breaks your personality.
okay. Ma'am,
Yeah.
dominating role कौन play करता है? It's behavior, it's your soft skills, or
Sir,
they are
I
complement to
said
each
that
other.
behavior is one of the soft skill out here.
Okay,
That is
okay,
somewhat,
behavior.
your presentability that talks about how presentable you are. So in presentable behavior कैसे होगा, आप कैसे communicate कर रहे हैं, वही तो आपका behavior बताएगा ना.
Right, right,
आपकी
right.
प्रेजेंटेबिलिटी क्या है, आपका ड्रेसिंग सेंस क्या है, वही आपका बिहेवियर भी बताएगा, राइट.
Okay.
या
But sometimes it happens na कि your good behavior has been taken like granted by the people. मतलब that problem is faced generally.
सर,
Your
दीज
good behavior
फैलेसीज
is
आर एक्चुअली ह्यूमन फैलेसीज. इस टाइप के इंसिडेंसेस होते रहते हैं.
okay,
Okay, for this you need to know the people fully, because if you're going to an unknown audience, if you are taken for granted, so you should not take it too hard, because
okay,
you should
okay,
understand the इसलिए मैंने बोला था ऑडियंस एनालिसिस बहुत जरूरी है,
okay, okay.
राइट.
चलिए, anybody is having any queries or we move on to our next speaker? Okay, thanks a
Yes,
lot,
I need to
Chetan.
ask, sir,
Sure,
one
sure.
sec. I need to
Most
ask one
welcome.
question, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, there is a problem sometimes when you are moving as an entrepreneur. Most of the time, if you are overthinking कि आपको बहुत अच्छा करना है,
Hmm.
and things would be seems to be like dominating to others, and it
Hmm.
could be like the thinking the some perceptions have created because as we are working as a leader for our own organization and working for the achievements of the goals, like the motto of this session is like so that is why I'm concluding this
Okay.
question, so I just
Akanksha,
need to
I
ask.
think we all are humans, and the person sitting in front of you would be having an image for you, whether it be right
Yeah,
or wrong. But whatever you are doing, if your conscience says it is right, speak to your conscience. Listen to your conscience. If it says it is right, why are you actually giving so much importance to the people who don't value a lot to you, or who don't
Right,
matter
right.
to you?
yes, yes,
Those
sure.
impressions are actually very futile in your life, because these people would not be there into the journey that you have actually taken, or the path that you are actually moving on.
Yeah,
Like I
exactly
am
the same
myself an
thing which
example.
yeah.
I am not deterred by, you can say, by some kind of you can say impressions on people. If my conscience says that जो भी मैं कर रही हूँ वो मैं सही कर रही हूँ. See, failure or success is into the hands of God and our dedication,
Yeah.
right? But if you are you can say, if you are at the onset of some new journey being an entrepreneur or somewhat, so just put up your sincere and best efforts, and just carry on. God is there.
Okay,
And
so
one thing
I
I must
just
say, one thing I must say to all of you, because I am on the healing side also. When you actually manifest or affirm something that you have to do this or that, XYZ, anything. So, and if you put your best efforts, you are dedicated, you are loyal towards what you have committed. So, I think, the universe pays for you. Okay. So, universe itself makes the way and it pays for you. मुझे लगता है कि ये चीज हमें फॉलो करनी चाहिए सभी को.
best saying, ma'am, best saying. I think I am getting the
I have
answer
always,
and
like,
well
I am a strict
appreciated
follower.
one.
I am a strict follower of God. So whatever I have to ask Him, He knows me better. So I ask Him, and it is somewhat that I am putting in my 100%. That is something where I'm not falling apart.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. The session
Thank you,
was like
ma'am.
very wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Shweta ma'am, for this wonderful session. So I have like my entire page conclusion for the summary. Just because of constraint of time, I am not taking it up. But in a single word, it is like an awesome and a wonderful session we have
Thank
heard
you so much,
today.
sir. At least I
Thank,
followed time management today.
okay,
Otherwise,
okay.
my sessions go lengthier.
No, it's fine, ma'am. Absolutely perfect. Now, thanks a lot for this session, and I would like to invite our second speaker.
Thank you so much, sir.
Uh,
Thank you, all of you, for having patience and listening to me. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Bye bye.
thank you, ma'am. Aarti, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. With this, I would like to invite Miss Aarti Devi, ma'am, for the second session. She's like MA Economics and UGC Net Economics, and she's assistant professor MIT Meerut in BBA department, and she's doing a wonderful job. Today she will be enlightening us with questionnaire preparation for market survey as required by the entrepreneur in the initial stage, to survey the customers, to survey the market, to understand the consumer behavior, and what is like method for the preparation of the same. So over to you, Aarti ma'am, and with this I extend my warm welcome for you to take on the session now.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, I, Aarti Devi, Assistant Professor of MIT, welcomes you all for today's session. And I will be giving presentation on the topic briefing for the market survey, that is questionnaire preparation. So let's start.
Ma'am, you are the host now. You can present your screen. I mean,
Okay. So before starting the presentation, I would like to introduce with some of the terms that will be mostly used in the presentation. So firstly, I would like to introduce what is researcher. Who is the researcher? He is the one who is going to do the survey or will collect the data or gather information from the public. Nowadays, entrepreneur itself is known as the researcher. Right. Second is respondent. Respondent, he is the one from whom the information will be collected. He will be the sample or the audience from the whom data will be collected. Right. The one who is going to answer our questions or is going to give the responses for our questionnaire. Third is sample. It is that part of the universe or the population which will be selected for the purpose of gathering information. Right. Firstly, I would like to explain that what is market survey. Market survey means a collection of first-hand data from customers, vendors, stakeholders, or the general public. So, market survey is the survey or research, or we can say it is a unit of analysis of the market for a particular product or service. जब हमें किसी भी प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस का इन्वेस्टिगेशन करना है टू नो दैट दी कस्टमर्स इंक्लिनेशंस, हमें जानना है कि कस्टमर हमारे प्रोडक्ट में इंटरेस्टेड है या नहीं है, दैट वेदर ही इज सेटिस्फाइड और नॉट, उसके लिए हम लोग को सर्वे करना पड़ता है. सर्वे इज मस्ट. And whenever we want to investigate that whether the customer is interested in our product or not, और उसकी क्या preferences हैं, क्या वो taste है उसका, we need to do research. That research is known as market survey. And there are various reasons for which this market survey is done. And entrepreneurs nowadays use market surveys as a technique to collect the data, right? And there are various objectives of doing market survey. First is pricing trends. Pricing trends, let's say to know the patterns and fluctuations of prices for a particular product or service over time. अगर मैं ट्रेंड्स की बात करूं तो ट्रेंड्स का मतलब है कि किसी भी चीज़ को अगर हम बहुत लंबे टाइम के लिए देखना चाह रहे हैं, दैट इज ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, we need to do a market survey, right? Second is customer expectations. What our customers are expecting in their product can be known only by the survey. Next is competitors. To know about our competitors' position or products in the market, one needs to do the survey. Next is taste. What a customer wants in the product and actually he likes. For that also we need to do the survey. Last is preferences, to know what is more preferred. ये हम तभी जान सकते हैं जब हम सर्वे करेंगे कि ज़्यादातर लोग क्या प्रेफर्ड करते हैं, क्या उनके एक्सपेक्टेशंस है कस्टमर्स की प्रोडक्ट को लेके या फिर कंपनी से रिलेटेड. दैट ऑल कैन बी नोन ओनली बाय द मार्केट सर्वे. And last is market trend and the comparisons. Whenever we want to compare our product in the market, we need to do the survey. And for that, we have to take the feedback of the customers regarding our product. And for that, we do the market survey. These are the objectives of doing the market survey. And now for doing the market survey and to achieve the above survey objectives, one has to select the means also, and how he will collect the data. All he has to is decide. And for that, there are number of ways. Number of ways are there to collect the data. It can be your interview method, it can be observation method or the questionnaire method. But today we are going to discuss the questionnaire method for doing the market survey. So, what is questionnaire? It is very much clear from the name itself that questionnaire is something related to questions, right? A questionnaire is a list of questions or items that can be used to gather data from respondents about their attitudes, experiences, their views, or their opinions. Right. Questionnaire is a kind of document that contains a list of questions. That is the questions that can be used to gather data from the respondent about their opinions, choices, views, and etc. Right. It can be used to collect both the quantitative as well as the qualitative information. Questionnaires are mostly used in market research. Why they are mostly used in market research? As it is very easy, it is the easiest method to know the customer's feedback. We can easily go to the customers and collect the data. We can ask them the questions about the product or the customer satisfaction, right? And we also regard the questionnaire as a kind of a interview on paper. हम लोग इसको एक काइंड ऑफ इंटरव्यू कह सकते हैं दैट वी टेक ऑन द पेपर, राइट? फेस टू फेस इंटरव्यू होता है एंड दिस इज काइंड ऑफ पेपर इंटरव्यू इन विच वी हैव डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन विच वी कैन यूज to ask from the customers regarding their feedbacks, right? Next is the purpose of questionnaire. There can be many purposes for preparing the questionnaire. One I have suggested is that it can be used for feedback, knowing the customer satisfaction, whether they are satisfied with the product or not, or our services. And for that, the first main purpose of questionnaire is to extract the data from the respondents. Right? As already explained, that questionnaire is a document that contains list of questions that is used for to collect the data from the respondents or audiences. So the main purpose of any questionnaire is just to extract the data from the respondents. Next is it is relatively inexpensive, quick and efficient way of collecting large amount of data even when the researcher isn't present to collect those responses firsthand. Preparing questionnaire is relatively inexpensive and a quick method of collecting large amount of data. And sometimes it is not possible for the researcher to be present at the time of collecting those responses. At that time also we can use the questionnaires efficiently to collect data in his absence also. Right? It can simply be distributed among the audiences and their responses can be recorded. Next is, it is an important factor to note that it is a questionnaire isn't the process of analyzing, rather it is the process of surveying. Questionnaire is not the process of analyzing, right? That it is not used for analyzing the data. It is simply used as a tool. Questionnaire is just used as a tool for the process of surveying, that is collecting data. It is not used for analyzing. It is just a means or it is just a method for surveying into the market, right? And for designing the questionnaire, some points have to be taken into consideration. If I talk about the questionnaire, first point that I have to take into consideration is my topic. That is, It is very important to decide to know, and you should be clear with your topic, that what topic you are selecting and what kind of research you are going to do, what kind of survey you are going to do. For that you have to prepare the questionnaire, and at that time you should be cleared with your topic. Then only you can prepare the questionnaire accordingly. It becomes the base for the framing of questions for your questionnaire. Right. For example, if I talk about customer satisfaction of people, if I'm talking about the hotel, right? So I am to check the customer satisfaction of the people checking into their hotel. Next point is who you want to survey. The next is who you want to survey, that is the sample or the audiences from whom you want to collect the information. You should be known with your audience, that from whom you have a lot of, there is a population. Out of the population, you have to select some of the members or some of the audiences sample who will give response to your questions. Right. So they will become the population, they will become the sample that you are going to do the survey on. Third is the type of information you want. Next is to decide what kind of information you want. That is, you want to know whether the customer is satisfied with the ambience, hospitality, food quality, etc. Whatever the points you want to include in that, the type of information you want. The fourth point is your budget. The foremost thing is to decide your budget, whether it is possible for you to visit each and everyone, or sometimes it is not possible for everyone to visit, because it needs expense, right? For that, doing in-house questionnaires sometimes may not be good, or you can do online questionnaires filling also. It all depends on the budget of the questionnaire, right? Last is how quickly you need the information. Lastly, you have to take into consideration the time or how quickly you need the information. If you want in a short span, you can use online or telephone method, or otherwise face-to-face method is best. Next is questionnaire designing. Simply, it is just a systematic process in which the researcher contemplates various question formats, considers a numbers of factors characterizing the survey at hand. Right. So questionnaire design, it is a kind of blueprint. What all type of questions we are going to ask, what layout we will take into consideration while preparing question. It is just a systematic process that you have to consider what kind of questions we are going to ask, what kind of layout you are going to have, that the questions will be short and simple. All the things you are going to prepare into your questionnaire comes under this questionnaire design. Right. Now, there are several steps you have to follow while preparing your questionnaire. While doing the survey, to design a good survey, you have to follow some steps. So, first step is identify what you want to cover in a survey. This is the very important point you have to start with. First, you have to decide what all you are going to ask or cover in your survey according to your topic. Right? Then, second, put questions that are necessary. You have to ask only that questions which are necessary for you or for your survey. Unnecessary questions will only waste your time, but they are not going to add anything into your results. For that, you have to put only that questions which are necessary for your survey. Third is keep it short and simple. This is the most important point, that the questions you are going to ask should be very simple, that are easily understood by the respondents, and should be short, so that the respondent does not feel so bored or does not feel monotonous at the time of answering the questions. Because short and simple answers can be easily answered. Next is ask one question at a time. You have to ask only one question at a time, so that the respondent does not get confused. He does not get confused into the questions you are asking. Right? Next is avoid using jargons. Try not to use the words that are not understood by the respondent, as they may not be feel comfortable in answering. You are not required to use the words that are not understood by your audiences, because if they are not understood by the audiences, they won't be able to answer the questions. And for getting the correct results or doing the exact survey, you need your answers your questions to be answered. For that, you have to avoid the jargons. That is, you are not you have to avoid these using technical terms or using the words or the language that is not understood by the respondents. Next is open-ended or closed-ended questions. You have to decide in advance that you will ask the open-ended questions or the closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions are those questions in which you don't have any limit. That is, you might be having some restrictions but not much. आप अपने क्वेश्चन को किसी भी मतलब यू कैन आंसर इन वन वर्ड लाइक इन अ लाइन, और आप लोग उसको पैरा में, और मतलब आपके पास कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं होती कि आप उसको जितने भी तरीके से मतलब जितना आप उसको एक्सप्लेन करना चाहते हो यू कैन एक्सप्लेन, राइट. और क्लोज एंडेड क्वेश्चंस कैसे होते हैं, दैट इज कि यू आर हैविंग दी मल्टीपल चॉइस, लाइक यू आर हैविंग दी ऑप्शंस, यू आर गिवन 4 ऑप्शंस, आउट ऑफ दैट यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट दी वन. जहां पर आपको ऑप्शंस दिए जाएंगे वो आपके कैसे होते हैं, क्लोज एंडेड क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. तो आपको ये अपने सर्वे के टाइम पहले ही डिसाइड करना है दैट यू आर द क्वेश्चन यू आर गोइंग टू पुट इज विल बी ऑफ ओपन एंडेड टाइप और इट विल बी क्लोज एंडेड टाइप, राइट. Next is spend time to design your survey. This is very important. If you want your design a good or perfect questionnaire for survey, you have to spend more time in preparing rather than preparing it quickly, right? If you are preparing जल्दबाजी में अगर आप लोग उसको तैयार करते हो तो it won't be that much good or perfect, and for that you have to spend time so that you are more clarified about what is your topic and what kind of questions we are going to ask, right? Next is analyze the responses after collecting. Once you have spent time in designing the questions, after that you are distributing that questionnaires or you are doing survey, you have to analyze the responses also. Collecting the data is not the thing, you have to analyze also, and for analyzing after collecting the responses, now you have to analyze the data so that the results can be concluded, right? Next is put a summary report together. After that, put a summary report together so that the results can be known and communicated and further steps can be taken. For further plan of action, you have to put together your summary report. That is what you have started with and what results you got from that. You all have to put together in a summary form so that everyone can understood that what you are trying to communicate. Right. For that, last is conclude your plan of action. Now, once you have done all these steps, now your results are ready for the execution of your plan of action. This was your last step. Next is the procedure that is to be followed for the development of your questionnaire. Right. The first point is to be included in this development of questionnaire is determine the type of questionnaire and method of administration. This is what type of questionnaire you are going to make. That is, it can be online questionnaire, it can be in-house questionnaire, or it can be telephone type questionnaire. This is to be decided before preparing, because before preparing you have to decide that what time period you are having, in what span of period you have to finish your questionnaire, and whether you need it quickly or you are having a time. For that you have to decide that whether you are going to do online method of questionnaire or you are going to do in-house questionnaire or the telephone type of. All things are to be administered beforehand so that it is easy to get the results. Next is determine the content of individual question. You have to determine the content of question. That is, what actually you want to ask should be clear. It should not hurt the audience in any way. Before the putting of question, you have to check the content of individual questions. Sometimes questions are asked to the audiences or the respondents that hurt in some way. Right, we have to put the questions that should not hurt the audiences or the respondents so that they can easily answer our questions, that does not feel uncomfortable in answering the questions. Next is determine the form of response to each question. what kind of response you are expecting for your questions, that is in a descriptive or subjective manner or in an objective manner, it has to be decided. Earlier I discussed in that steps, I have said that ki you have to decide whether you will be using open ended questions or you will be using closed ended questions. This all comes under the form of response you want. ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप कैसा रिस्पॉन्स चाह रहे हो, वेदर यू आर इफ यू आर आस्किंग फॉर द फीडबैक, sometimes you need that ki the answer should be in a descriptive manner. At that time you need that the descriptive manner for the questionnaire, this kind of, or sometimes you need the objective, right? So you have to decide it beforehand, or you have to decide it in the advance, that the form of response you want for your questions. Last is determine the word of each question. That is, the wording of the questions should be simple and in conventional language, that it is easily understandable by the respondents. You cannot use the language. Earlier I told that you have to avoid using jargons, right? So you have to check the wording of each question, that your question should be in simple language. It should be sorted so that it is easily understood by the respondents, so that they can easily answer our questions. Right. Now I'll be explaining the type of questionnaires that you can include or you can put in a questionnaire. The first type is open questions. Open questions are the, like I have said, that open-ended questions. More information but difficult to codify, enter and analyze. ओपन क्वेश्चंस क्या है? ओपन क्वेश्चंस ऐसे हैं कि जिसमें आप इंफॉर्मेशन तो बहुत ज़्यादा कलेक्ट कर सकते हो, बट जब आप उसको एक्सप्लेन करना चाहोगे या आप उससे रिजल्ट्स कोडिफाई करना चाहोगे, तो इट वुड बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू कोडिफाई द रिजल्ट्स, right? And it is not easy to enter the data for every response. That is, we have numbers of respondents who are answering to our questions, and it is not possible for ourselves to codify or to enter the data. It is sometimes becomes very difficult to analyze the data because it is in the form of descriptive manner. Right. The second type of question is closed question. Less information but easy to codify, enter and analyze. I explained earlier that closed questions are the questions kind of MCQs, multiple choice questions, जहाँ पर आपके पास ये रहता है कि अगर आपके पास 4 ऑप्शंस है, उसमें से आप किसी एक को सिलेक्ट करोगे, तो दैट इज मोर इजी टू codify. That is, it is in the extreme position that you can easily tell that whether he is satisfied or not, or yes or no. That is right. And that closed-ended data is very easy to enter and analyze, right? So I would like to explain fully the open-ended questions. These help collect qualitative data in a questionnaire where the respondent can answer in a free form with little to no restrictions. राइट मैंने क्या बताया कि जैसे ही आप लोग ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस की बात करते हो, तो ये आप लोग के लिए एक रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं रहता है कोई भी, कि आप उसको, या तो आपके ऊपर अगर रिस्ट्रिक्शन रहेगा तो ये रहेगा कि हाँ, कि आप लोग उसे 2 लाइन में एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो, 3 लाइन में एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो, बट यू आर फ्री टू आंसर. राइट, यू कैन आंसर इन अ डिस्क्रिप्टिव मैनर और इन अ सब्जेक्टिव मैनर. राइट. और जब भी हमें कभी क्वालिटेटिव डाटा कलेक्ट करना है, क्वालिटेटिव डाटा की अगर मैं बात करूँ, तो दैट इज, हम जब क्वालिटी की बात करते हो तो वी यूजुअली डिफाइन, दैट इज, हम लोग को चाहिए उसको एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए हमें टाइम चाहिए, लाइक वी नीड अ स्पेस फॉर एक्सप्लेनिंग दैट क्वेश्चन. राइट. तो ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस का यूज मोस्टली तभी होता है जब हम किसी भी डाटा को क्वालिटेटिव पर्पज से देखना चाह रहे हैं, उसके लिए फ्री फॉर्म में, मतलब हम लोग बिना रिस्ट्रिक्शंस के लोगों के फीडबैक लेना चाह रहे हैं. एट दैट टाइम वी यूज ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस. For example, what are your expectations, requirement for the product? If I'm asking this question, that ki, what are your expectations or requirements for any product? So at that time, I'm gathering the information, and you will provide the answer. Let's say you will say ki I'm provider, like I like the quality of the product. I'm expecting. You can answer in a 4 or 5 lines. You can answer in a 1 line or a 2 line. That is, you are free to answer. There are no restrictions on you to answer that question. Again, the example, that is, what do you see as the next action step? What's the most important priority to you with this? These questions are like you can answer in a subjective manner. That is, you can easily describe your answer. You are nowhere restricted to answer that question, right? Next is closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions, they are kind of multiple choice questions type, right? In which respondent has to select one or many response from the given list of options. Like, for example, have you been stressed lately? For this, I am having only two options, that is whether yes or no. You can answer simply in a one way, that is you have one yes or no. ठीक है. क्लोज एंडेड क्वेश्चंस में क्या होता है कि आप लोग के पास कोई लिमिट नहीं होती है, आपके यू आर रिस्ट्रिक्टेड, आपके पास रिस्ट्रिक्शन होता है कि आपसे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा जा रहा है, सिंपली आपको उसके चार ऑप्शंस दे दिए गए हैं, आपको उसमें से कोई एक क्वेश्चन का मतलब कोई एक ऑप्शन को सिलेक्ट करना है. दैट कम्स अंडर द क्लोज्ड एंडेड क्वेश्चंस. अब जो हम लोग क्लोज्ड एंडेड क्वेश्चंस की बात करते हैं, इसमें जब हम मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस बनाते हैं या रखते हैं, तो उसमें भी हम लोग के पास ये चॉइस होती है कि किस टाइप का मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन रहेगा. राइट. हम लोग के पास एक होता है लिकेट स्केल. Likert scale is the scale that researcher use to collect respondents' attitudes and opinions. जब हमें किसी रिस्पोंडेंट का ये जानना है कि उसका ओपिनियन क्या है, उसके व्यूज क्या है, उसका एटीट्यूड क्या है टुवर्ड्स लेट्स से टुवर्ड्स एनी सिचुएशन. ठीक है. रिसर्चर ऑफन यूज दिस स्केल टू अंडरस्टैंड द व्यूज एंड पर्सपेक्टिव टुवर्ड्स अ ब्रांड प्रोडक्ट और अ टारगेट मार्केट. जब कभी भी एंटरप्रेन्योर को ये चेक करना है कि मेरे प्रोडक्ट के लिए लोगों का क्या पर्सपेक्टिव है, कि whether they are what are their perspective toward my brand product or toward my target market, at that time I might use the Likert scale. जहाँ पर भी मुझे कभी किसी का ओपिनियन जानना है या किसी का व्यू पॉइंट जानना है, वहाँ पे मैं डिस्क्रिप्टिव में ना करते हुए उस चीज़ को जब मैं ऑब्जेक्टिव वे में करना चाहूँगी तो आई विल बी यूजिंग द लिकेट स्केल. लिकेट स्केल में क्या होता है कि यू हैव द ऑप्शंस, like if here you can see that in the example, that first point is the website was easy to navigate. For that, I am having 5 options. That is, the person might be strongly disagree with that thing. He might be disagree. He might be neutral, agree, or strongly agree. I am having 5 options here. This will show my opinion, or they are going to tell my attitude towards the thing or my views towards that website. Right? They have asked me that the website was easy to navigate. So I will answer in the 5 options only, that I might be agree or I might be disagree. Right? Like the same next point, the checkout process was simple. For that also I'm having 5 options, and the last also. Right. For that also entrepreneur use this Likert scale where he wants to know the opinions, attitudes of the researchers. Next type is checklist type. Checklist से हमें पता चलता है कि that it is a kind of MCQ type where we have includes all the options to that questions. Here they like यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है कि आप क्या चाहते हैं कि शोरूम में क्या क्या चीज़ें अवेलेबल हो, क्या क्या देखना चाहते हैं आप शोरूम में. तो वहाँ पर हम लोग क्या करेंगे, सारे ऑप्शंस दिए जाएंगे. राइट. हम लोग के पास सारे ऑप्शंस रहेंगे. वी हैव टू टिक और वी हैव टू चेक दी करेक्ट आउट ऑफ ऑल. what you all are expecting in that, you have to check that point. Right. And the next is rank order. This type of MCQ includes the options that are ranked according to the preferences or choice of the audiences or respondents. Sometimes if we want to know that how our product is liked by the customer, like if I'm talking about कि मैंने बात करी कि शोरूम की बात करूँ, शोरूम में 5 चीज़ें चाहिए, तो मुझे ये भी चेक करना है कि सबसे ज़्यादा लोग किस चीज़ को प्रेफर्ड कर रहे हैं. अगर शोरूम में मैंने 5 चीज़ें रखी हैं, सबसे ज़्यादा किसको लोग प्रेफर्ड कर रहे हैं या किसको लाइक कर रहे हैं, ये सब चीज़ें भी मेरे को रैंक करने वाइज, लाइक कि जब मुझे रैंकिंग में चाहिए, दैट इज ऑर्डिनल टाइप में जब मुझे चेक करना है, एट दैट टाइम आई विल यूज द रैंक ऑर्डर मल्टीपल टाइप चॉइस क्वेश्चंस. द लास्ट इज रेटिंग स्केल. Rating scale, in this type of multiple choice questions, we have 2 extreme answers and we have to rate the situation by rating them. अब हमारे पास कोई भी सिचुएशन ऐसी होगी जिसके हमारे पास 2 एक्सट्रीम पॉइंट्स होंगे, या तो वो चीज़ बहुत अच्छी है या तो वो चीज़ बहुत मतलब बुरी है. ठीक है. उसके लिए हमें रेटिंग करी जाएगी. लेट्स से कि हमारे पास रेटिंग दे रखी है 1 2 3 4 5 6 एंड 7. तो अगर हम लोग उसको रेटिंग करते हैं 1 2 3, तो दैट मीन्स 1 2 विल शो दैट द प्रोडक्ट इज पुअर, and after it comes under the 5 6 7, that means the product is excellent. जब हम लोग किसी प्रोडक्ट की रेटिंग करते हैं, that comes under the rating scale. It depends upon the kind of information you want to collect from the respondent. अगर आप लोगों को क्लियर है कि आप कैसे रिस्पोंडेंट से इन्फॉर्मेशन चाह रहे हो, एट दैट टाइम यू कैन डिसाइड वेदर यू आर गोइंग टू यूज द रैंक ऑर्डर, यू आर गोइंग टू यूज द रेटिंग स्केल, और यू आर गोइंग टू यूज द चेकलिस्ट और द लिकर्ट स्केल. इट ऑल डिपेंड्स upon the type of information you are expecting from your respondents. Now I will like to explain that type of questionnaires. As earlier I have used many times this word, that is online questionnaires, in-house questionnaires, and the telephone questionnaires. So what is online questionnaires? It is very much cleared from the word that is online. If I'm talking about online, so that is through online mediums, that is through internet or the social media. In this type of questionnaires, respondents are sent the questionnaire. जो इसमें क्वेश्चनर सेंड करा जाएगा रिस्पोंडेंट को, दैट विल बी थ्रू द ईमेल और अदर ऑनलाइन मीडियम्स. हो सकता है कि हम लोग फीडबैक लेने के लिए यूजली क्या करते हैं कि कोई हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करता है, लेट्स से कि किसी ने अपना नंबर रजिस्टर करा टू नो अबाउट आवर प्रोडक्ट और समथिंग, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं यूजली उनकी अगर मेल आईडी वहाँ पे डाल देते हैं तो वी यूजली सेंड आवर क्वेश्चनर टू देम ऑन देयर मेल so that we can collect their responses whether they are satisfied what they were searching about, are they interested in our product. All will be done in the way of online method, right? So online questionnaires are the one where the respondents are sent the questionnaire via the emails or the online mediums. Next is in-house questionnaire. This type is used by a researcher who visits the respondent's home or workplace. अगर मैं बात करूं जब हमारे यहाँ पे सेंसस होते हैं या ये सर्वे किए जाते हैं तो इसमें क्या होता है कि जो घर पे आकर हमसे डाटा कलेक्ट किया जाता है, दैट इज काइंड ऑफ इन हाउस क्वेश्चनर्स. कई बार कोई न्यू प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च होता है तो हम लोग के घर में आते हैं फीडबैक के लिए कि दैट वी हैव लॉन्च दिस प्रोडक्ट एंड दिस इज फीचर्स वी आर हैविंग. एंड जब हम लोग उस प्रोडक्ट को या तो यूज करते हैं आफ्टर 1 वीक और आफ्टर अ मंथ दे अगेन कम टू अस, हम लोग से पूछते हैं कि दैट व्हाट वाज योर रिस्पांस रिगार्डिंग आवर प्रोडक्ट, वेदर यू लाइक दैट प्रोडक्ट और नॉट. दिस ऑल कम्स अंडर द इन हाउस क्वेश्चनर्स, जहाँ पर हम जो रिस्पोंडेंट है, रिसर्चर जो है, जो एंटरप्रेन्योर की जो टीम है, दैट गोज टू द रिस्पोंडेंट्स एंड आस्क अबाउट देयर प्रोडक्ट, देयर ब्रांड और देयर सेटिस्फेक्शन, राइट. एंड द लास्ट इज टेलीफोन क्वेश्चनर. टेलीफोन क्वेश्चनर्स कैसे हैं कि इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर रिसर्चर टू गो ईच एंड एवरी प्लेस एंड आस्क द क्वेश्चंस, right? If someone is doing survey, he might be having different works also. For that also he can do simply, he can make a phone call to a respondent for collecting the responses directly. This is also one-to-one conversation between the researcher and the respondent. It is very easy method that we can simply make a phone call to a respondent and ask the questions that we were trying to ask him, right? So this method is telephone questionnaire. And I will like to explain some of the common mistakes which are made by the researchers while preparing the questionnaires. First, you can see here that I have given one example of this drink. What was the first drink you had today? I am having the options tea, coffee, water, juice. Haven't had a drink today. Other, please state. Right? तो इस क्वेश्चन में क्या गलत कर रखा है कि we need to cover all the options. Instead of writing haven't had a drink today or other, please state, we have to use the option that is all the above. हम लोग को ऐसे ऑप्शंस नहीं लेने हैं कि जो ये शो करे कि हमने उसमें से कोई चीज़ करी ही नहीं है, राइट? हम लोग को जो चेकलिस्ट टाइप में बता रही थी उसमें यही था कि आप लोग को ऐसे ऑप्शंस नहीं लेने, ना तो आपको नेगेटिव आंसर्स लेने, राइट? नेक्स्ट इज व्हाट इज योर एज ग्रुप. एंड हेयर यू कैन सी दैट यहाँ पर जो क्लास फ्रिक्वेंसी या क्लास इंटरवल लिया गया है दैट इज 0 to 18, 18 to 30, 30 to 45 एंड 45+. यहाँ पर हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि 0 to 18 अगर एक क्लास इंटरवल है तो दूसरे में भी 18 to 30 दिया है. दैट इज जो पॉपुलेशन या फिर जो एज ग्रुप 18 वाला है वो 0 to 18 के क्लास इंटरवल में भी आएगा और 18 to 30 के क्लास इंटरवल में भी आएगा. तो दैट मीन्स अगर ये दोनों में आने लग गए तो इससे क्या होगा, डबल काउंटिंग की प्रॉब्लम होगी, राइट? अगर डबल काउंटिंग की प्रॉब्लम होगी तो जो हम लोग के रिजल्ट होंगे दैट आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी एग्जैक्ट. ठीक है, द ऑप्शंस शुड बी म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव. The right way to prepare this age group section is 0 to 18, that is the population coming under 18 will come only in the class interval that is 0 to 18. And if I talk about next is 19 to 30, 31 to 45, 46+. This is the correct series that you have to include into your questionnaire. Now if I talk about the next kind of mistake, what did you think about the waiting time? Right, here I am having the 5 options, out of which I am having 3 good responses and having 1 bad responses, right? तो जो options मुझे इसमें लेने all should be balanced in the sense, ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आपने 3 questions को good response में involve कर रहे हो तो आपने bad के लिए खाली simply एक extreme point दे दिया. ठीक है, कि अगर आपको कोई चीज नहीं पसंद आ रही है तो आपने डायरेक्ट बोल दिया कि दैट प्रोडक्ट इज पुअर, यू माइट हैव दी बैड रिस्पॉन्सेज ऑल्सो, बट दी ऑप्शंस शुड बी बैलेंस. अगर 3 आपने गुड रिस्पॉन्स दिए, यू हैव टू गिव दी 3 बैड रिस्पॉन्सेज ऑल्सो. देयर शुड बी बैलेंस बिटवीन दी ऑप्शंस, right? So these were the common mistakes which are usually made by the researcher at the time of preparing questionnaire. Now the next is how to obtain the valid information. First point is that is to be included is ask purposeful questions. The questions that is to be asked or included in the questionnaire should be related to your purpose only. अगर आप लोग को यही क्लैरिफाई नहीं होगा, यही क्लैरिटी नहीं रहेगी कि आप लोग का पर्पस क्या है, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू मेक द गुड क्वेश्चनर, राइट? आपको पहले यही क्लियर होना चाहिए कि दैट व्हाट टॉपिक यू आर गोइंग टू डू रिसर्च ऑन और आपका पर्पस क्या है. जब तक पर्पस नहीं रहेगा तो आपको रिजल्ट्स निकालने के लिए आपको वैसे क्वेश्चंस चाहिए, राइट? और आप जब तक पर्पस क्लियर नहीं होगा आप उसके क्वेश्चंस नहीं प्रिपेयर कर पाएंगे. फॉर दैट पर्पस यू हैव टू फ्रेम द क्वेश्चंस दैट आर रिलेटेड टू योर purpose of your survey. Next is ask concrete questions. That is, you should ask the questions that are known to the audiences or clear to their senses, and it should match the qualities of your research. आप क्या पूछना चाह रहे हैं, एक तो पहले उससे रिलेटेड होना चाहिए, दूसरा it should be known to the audiences or clear to their senses. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए कि वो चीज़ उन्हें पता ही नहीं है, that is somewhere it is not known to them. It should be known to them, that is it should be known to their senses, they are very much cleared with that topics. Next is use time periods based on importance of the question. You have to decide the time you are going to give for the question. If the question is important, then take more time for that question, and if not, then take less time, as we have to manage the time period also. ऐसा नहीं है अगर आप लोग बहुत लंबा या बहुत लेंदी क्वेश्चनर प्रिपेयर कर लोगे तो customers will feel like the respondents will feel monotonous while answering that questions. For that you have to manage your time periods also, that what time you are going to take for one question, or if that question is very important for you, you might take more time for that, and if it is not important you can take less time for that questions, right? Next is use conventional language. Conventional language, that is the language which is easily understood by the रिस्पॉन्डेंट. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग को लगता है कि सामने वाली जो पॉपुलेशन है या सामने वाले जो सैंपल है जिससे हम लोग डाटा कलेक्ट करने वाले हैं, ही इज़ वेरी मच कंफर्टेबल इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग दी हिंदी, राइट? अगर वो हिंदी समझने में ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल है तो अगर हम लोग क्वेश्चनर इंग्लिश में प्रिपेयर करेंगे तो इट विल नॉट बी पॉसिबल फॉर हिम टू आंसर द क्वेश्चंस इन अ राइट मैनर. Sorry. Next is use complete sentences. For the proper conveying of the information to the customers or to the respondents about what you are asking, you have to use complete sentences. That is, अगर जब तक आप complete sentence नहीं use करोगे, that is you have to avoid using abbreviations, right? अगर आप abbreviations use कर करके या फिर short में sentence बना के उनसे question पूछना चाहोगे तो it is not possible for the respondent to answer your question in a right manner, or it might answer in a wrong way, right? Next is use shorter questions. The questions to be framed in questionnaire should be short. Otherwise, the respondent will feel monotonous in answering the questions and may not answer rightly, right? अब सामने वाले से जब हम क्वेश्चन पूछने जा रहे हैं, हो सकता है कई बार कोई बहुत जल्दबाजी में है, तो तब भी अगर हम लोग उससे शॉर्ट टाइम पीरियड में या शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस पूछे तो इट इज वेरी कंफर्टेबल फॉर हिम टू आंसर, right? He will feel bored. And the next is avoid abbreviations. Abbreviations while preparing the questions, you have to avoid abbreviations. And it is not always known or understood by the respondents. जो abbreviations हम लोग यूज कर रहे हैं ये जरूरी नहीं है कि जो सामने वाला है उसको हमेशा समझ आए, ठीक है? उसके लिए हमें मोस्टली क्या करना है कि हम लोग को जरूरत ये कि हम लोग abbreviations का यूज कम करें, ठीक है? एब्रीविएशंस का जितना हम कम यूज करेंगे उतना सामने वाला क्लैरिफाई रहेगा, उतना ज्यादा उसको क्लैरिटी रहेगी कि सामने वाला मुझसे क्या पूछना चाह रहा है. रादर ही विल हैव टू आस्क अगेन एंड अगेन दैट व्हाट इज दिस एब्रीविएशन मीन्स, राइट? नेक्स्ट इज अवॉइड नेगेटिव क्वेश्चंस. Negative questions is The questions asked should not convey something negative that can hurt the respondent. Sometimes what happens कि हम लोग कई बार सामने वाले से क्वेश्चन पूछने लग जाते हैं, समटाइम्स ही फील्स हैरेसमेंट, और कुछ बार ये होता है कि वो सोचता है कि समवेयर ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट माय कास्ट, मतलब बहुत चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो सामने वाले को नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट दे जाती है. तो हम लोग को स्टार्टिंग से क्या करना है, ये देख के चलना है कि कोई हम ऐसा क्वेश्चन नेगेटिव ना पुटअप कर दे कि सामने वाला उस चीज़ को लेके अनकंफर्टेबल हो, एंड ही माइट इग्नोर और he might say no to answer that questions. Then last is adopt questions should used successfully in other questionnaires. Try to add the questions which are already used successfully before, so that it can help you better in getting your results. जब कभी भी आप लोग कोई चीज़ फ्रेम करने लगते हो या फिर आप कोई चीज़ प्रिपेयर करते हो, उससे पहले आप क्या करते हो कि उससे पहले जिसने भी उस फील्ड में काम करा हुआ है या फिर उस लिटरेचर पे, मतलब लेट्स से किसी भी फील्ड में काम करा हुआ है, उसने पहले कैसे क्वेश्चनियर्स रेडी कर रखे हैं, कैसे क्वेश्चंस उसने इंक्लूड कर रखे हैं, आप उन सबको अडॉप्ट कर सकते हो. दैट इज यू कैन वंस गो थ्रू दैट, कि आप एक बार उसको देख लेंगे तो आपको ये आइडिया हो जाएगा कि कैसे क्वेश्चंस मुझे चाहिए अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करने के लिए, राइट. नेक्स्ट इज वर्ड्स टू अवॉइड इन क्वेश्चनर डेवलपमेंट. जब आप क्वेश्चनर का डेवलपमेंट करते हैं, एट दैट टाइम यू हैव टू अवॉइड दी वर्ड्स, right? And these some words are like all, any, anybody, best, ever, every, never, etc. are all extreme absolutes. That is, आप लोग सामने वाले को कभी भी ऐसी सिचुएशन में नहीं पुट कर सकते कि that is he is having the extreme options, whether he has to answer in yes or he has to answer in no. ठीक है, तो ये जो सिचुएशन है, द सिचुएशन शोज आइदर द रिस्पोंडेंट इज फुली एग्री विद दैट और ही इज कंप्लीटली डिसएग्री. दिस इज द एक्सट्रीम पोजीशन that puts the respondent into the question, that he sometimes feel like he wants to describe the situation but he is not able to describe, as he just has to answer in two way, that is whether he agree or he disagree, right? Then next is instructions. Instructions you have to follow before preparing the questionnaire. That is, in the beginning of each section should include clear instructions. You have to include all the clear instructions. You have to provide the instructions about what you are expecting to collect, what and what kind of answer you have to do. All you have to disclose beforehand, right? You have to also tell that whether their id will be anonymous or it will be confidential. That is, anonymous type is no names or ids, that is no ids will be taken from them or their names will not be included anywhere. And the next is confidential, that is their ids will be taken, their name will be shown but their responses will not be shown. That मतलब उनका जो है कॉन्फिडेंशियल रखा जाएगा, उनको कोई प्राइवेसी कंसर्न नहीं रहेगा कि ऐसा कि जिनसे उनकी प्राइवेसी हर्ट हो. नेक्स्ट इज गिवन इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट क्वेश्चनर टाइम. जब आप किसी से क्वेश्चनर भरवाने चाह रहे हो या उससे चाहते हो कि वो फिल करे उस क्वेश्चनर को, यू हैव टू टेल देम कि इस क्वेश्चनर के लिए यू नीड जस्ट 5 मिनट्स और यू नीड 10 मिनट्स. अदरवाइज दी रिस्पॉन्डेंट विल समटाइम वो आपको बहाने बताने लग जाएगा कि दैट आई एम बिजी और आई वॉन्ट बी एबल टू आंसर, आई हैव टू गो समवेयर. अगर आप किसी का ज़्यादा टाइम लेते हो तो ही फील्स बोर्ड टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन, राइट. नेक्स्ट इज बी कंसिस्टेंट विद इंस्ट्रक्शंस एंड फॉर्मेट. आपको क्या करना है कि जो आप उनसे पूछना चाह रहे हो आपको कंसिस्टेंसी रखनी है. दैट इज कि आप ये नहीं कि इतनी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी करो कि एकदम से वेरिएशंस कर दो, राइट. रूटीन जो रहेगा लाइक कि आप रोज उनसे क्वेश्चंस पूछना चाह रहे हो तो आपके पास वेरिएशन ना ज़्यादा हो. Next is avoid ambiguity, confusion and vagueness. Make sure it is absolutely clear what you are asking and how you want it answered. अब अगर आप लोग क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो उसके सबसे बड़ी चीज़ क्या है कि आपको सामने वाले को क्लियर होना चाहिए. जब तक सामने वाले को क्लियर नहीं होगा कि दैट व्हाट यू आर ट्राइंग टू आस्क टू हिम, टिल दैट यू कैन नॉट फाइंड आंसर्स टू योर क्वेश्चंस. फॉर दैट पर्पस यू हैव टू अवॉइड द एम्बिग्विटी, लाइक you have to use the words that are easily understood by the respondent or you have to use the language that is easily understood by the respondent, right. Next, avoid asking questions beyond a respondent's capabilities. ऐसा ना हो कि आप लोग ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हो जो उसकी कैपेबिलिटी से बाहर है. दैट इज ही हर किसी का एक कॉग्निटिव लिमिटेशन होती है. कॉग्निटिव लिमिटेशन क्या है कि जो अगर हम बोले हमारी सोच विचार करने की भी एक लिमिट होती है. अगर आप हमसे कुछ ऐसा क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं दैट वी आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड और हम लोग का मतलब माइंड ही नहीं वर्क कर रहा है इस क्वेश्चन के लिए, तो वी आर नॉट एबल टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन प्रॉपरली. It is pointless to ask people about things that are not natural way for them to think. Sometimes you ask the questions which are not easy for the respondent to think on that topic, right? We sometimes put them into a situation that are not easy for them to answer. At that time also we have to avoid the using that, right? नेक्स्ट इज ऑनलाइन सर्वेइंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स. अब हम लोगों ने क्वेश्चनर्स रेडी कर लिए हैं. अब किस तरीके से, अगर हम मैं कॉलेज की बात करूं तो हम लोग गूगल फॉर्म्स का यूज करते हैं. इट इज ऑल्सो काइंड ऑफ सर्वे दैट इज sorry, we used to collect data, right? So first is Google Forms, that is docs.google.com forms, and the next is freeonlinesurveys.com. We can prepare our questionnaires on these platform, and these platforms can be used for collecting the data. As I was saying that there is online method also of collecting questionnaires. At that time I can use that free online surveys. Right. Next is surveymonkey.com. This is also the kind of online survey platform that can be used for providing the questionnaire to the respondents. It is not possible to go everyone's house and ask the questions. For that also you can use the online method. आजकल जितनी भी चीज़ें सबसे ज़्यादा अगर हम कह सकते हैं कि अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा है या किसी चीज़ का गुड रिस्पॉन्स चाहिए या प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, तो उसके लिए हम लोग ऑनलाइन मेथड्स का यूज़ करें. क्यों? क्योंकि आजकल everyone is interested in doing online using online methods, right? For that we can use the online methods for collecting the answers. Now the last I want to discuss is that characteristics of good questions in a questionnaire. जब आप क्वेश्चनर रेडी करोगे तो आपको अच्छे क्वेश्चंस फ्रेम करने के लिए उसके क्या क्या फीचर्स हो सकते हैं, राइट? फर्स्ट इज क्लियर ऑब्जेक्टिव. आप क्वेश्चनर प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, मैंने क्या बताया कि क्वेश्चनर का एक तरीके की डॉक्यूमेंट है दैट कैन बी यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट द डेटा, राइट? और जब तक आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्लियर नहीं होगा दैट फॉर व्हाट पर्पस यू आर कलेक्टिंग एंड व्हाट आर योर ऑब्जेक्टिव फॉर कलेक्टिंग दिस डेटा, फॉर टिल देन यू कैन नॉट प्रिपेयर अ क्वेश्चनर, राइट? For preparing good questions you should be clear with your objectives, what objectives you are having for collecting this information. Then next is simple language. Simple language, that is earlier I told you that ki language ऐसी होनी चाहिए that the language should be conventional, that it is easily understood by the respondent. ऐसा ना हो कि हम लोग इंग्लिश में कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं, सामने वाला हिंदी समझ रहा है, राइट? और कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम लोग हिंदी में क्वेश्चन प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं बट दी रिस्पॉन्डेंट फ्रॉम whom we are going to collect is not easy for them to understand hindi, English. Next is clear concept. जब तक आपको खुद को कंसेप्ट क्लियर नहीं होंगे कि दैट यू आर नॉट क्लियर विद योर कंसेप्ट, टिल देन यू कैन नॉट फ्रेम द क्वेश्चंस, राइट? क्वेश्चंस फ्रेम करने के लिए आपको अपने कंसेप्ट्स क्लियर होने जरूरी है कि दैट व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू आस्क एंड व्हाट व्हाई यू आर आस्किंग दैट, व्हाट रिजल्ट्स यू वांट फ्रॉम देम, व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू कंक्लूड, राइट? नेक्स्ट इज विदाउट बायस. दैट इज अगर हम कोई क्वेश्चनर तैयार कर रहे हैं तो उसमें कोई भी ऐसी भेदभाव नहीं होना चाहिए. दैट इज कि मैंने एक से तो एक क्वेश्चनर इस टाइप का ले लिया है और दूसरे से जो मैं क्वेश्चंस पूछ रही हूँ उसमें बायसनेस दिख रही है, राइट? नेक्स्ट इज एडिक्वेट आंसर ऑप्शंस. अगर आप लोग ऑप्शंस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो, दैट इज इफ यू आर यूजिंग क्लोज्ड एंडेड क्वेश्चंस टाइप, for that you have to provide the adequate answer. Earlier I told you कि क्या क्या common mistakes हो सकती हैं. जैसे हमने उसमें बताया था कि what drinks he had today, उसमें हम लोगों ने 4 options दिए थे, जिसके बाद we said that कि he didn't have any drink today or none of the above. तो हम लोग को ऐसे options रखने हैं, वही options रखने हैं that the respondent can easily select, right? Next is shorter questions. You have to include very short questions so that the respondent feel easy to answer. That is, हर बार क्या होता है कि जब आप किसी को लंबा questions या कोई बहुत lengthy question देते हो, सामने वाला सोचता है कि जितना मैं टाइम इसको पढ़ के आंसर करने में वेस्ट करूंगा उससे बढ़िया क्या है कि he will give you the wrong answers. Like he will feel bored that कि सारे questions इतने बड़े बड़े, how will I read, कि instead of wasting time I am just simply correcting the option, right? Next is the single question at a time. At the time of explaining the steps for a good survey design, I told you that you have to ask the single question at a time, right? Otherwise it will create confusion in the minds of respondent that what to answer, or they might feel little disturbed, that confused between the questions. Last is mathematics is not important. अगर हम लोग क्वेश्चंस डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, दैट डजंट मीन कि हम लोग को उसमें क्वांटिटेटिव डाटा लेके चलना है, राइट? क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है, अगर हम किसी को लेट्स से कि हमने कोई क्वेश्चन प्रोवाइड करा है, उसमें हम लोगों ने कह दिया कि इसका इतना परसेंटेज आपको बताना है, तो दैट कम्स अंडर मैथमेटिक्स, राइट? तो जब आप किसी चीज का सोल्यूशन या मैथमेटिक्स टाइप में करने का देते हो, तो सामने वाला क्या सोचता है, दैट इट विल टेक माई टाइम, इट विल कंज्यूम माई टाइम, और समटाइम ही विल फील लाइक कि आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट मेथड, right? So he will feel bored, or he might not interested in answering that question. For that purpose, you have to look after that ki mathematics is not very much important. You should mostly use the qualitative method for asking the questions rather using the mathematics, right? So that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Any queries from the audience side? I request from the audience to have some queries. Okay, Aarti ma'am, I have one query in my mind. Are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. I
Yes.
just wanted to know that how questionnaire be designed by from the entrepreneur point of view. जब अभी entrepreneurs को ये नहीं पता कि हमें किसको reach out करना है, कौन हमारे consumers होंगे, कैसे वो socialize करेगा, how questionnaire method is important to collect the data as far as from the viewpoint of entrepreneur is concerned, being this TDP is related to the entrepreneurship.
सर, अगर एंटरप्रेन्योर की बात करें, तो जब भी वो अपने प्रोडक्ट को या फिर प्रोडक्ट मतलब बनाना चाह रहा है या उसको प्रोड्यूस करना चाह रहा है, तो उसे पता होता है कि लेट्स से कि उसे पता है कि मुझे किस एज ग्रुप के लिए बनाना है, लेट्स से कि उसे पता है कि मुझे 18 to 30 के लिए बनाना है और 30 to 45 के लिए बनाना है। तो दैट इज ही इज क्लियर्ड इन द एडवांस दैट कौन सी एज पॉपुलेशन के लिए वो बनाना चाह रहा है उस प्रोडक्ट को। जब उसे पता रहेगा कि मेरे को कौन सी एज ग्रुप के लिए, तो जो वो ऑडियंस को चूज करेगा, तो सर वो भी 18 to 30 की ही रहेगी, राइट? तो उसके जो क्वेश्चनर्स होंगे वो भी अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट ही विल नो दैट कि कौन सी पॉपुलेशन मुझे लेनी है, किस सैंपल को मुझे सिलेक्ट करना है, क्योंकि सैंपल इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर डूइंग द फॉर सर्कुलेटिंग द क्वेश्चन।
Okay. Any other question from audience side?
Oh, yes, I need to ask one question.
यस सर।
Yes, most welcome, Akanksha.
एक्चुअली मेरे को ये पूछना है कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम लोगों का कंज्यूमर गुड नहीं है, जैसे हम लोग एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर कभी कभार हम लोग किसी आइडिया पे चलते हैं, एंड इफ इट वुड बी अ थॉट प्रोसेस, देन थॉट प्रोसेस के लिए हम लोग कैसे इसको एज अ टूल यूज कर सकते हैं? हाउ वुड वी मेक इट अ रिसर्च डिजाइन?
रिसर्च डिजाइन, विल यू मैम रिपीट? हेलो
हेलो,
मैम, विल यू रिपीट द क्वेश्चन?
यस प्लीज। मैंने पूछा, अगर हम लोग कंज्यूमर गुड्स की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं एक इनोवेटिव आइडिया की, बिकॉज एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो वर्क करते हैं वो वर्क करते हैं आइडियाज पे, तो अगर हम आइडियाज को एक फॉर्मुलेशन के लिए डालना चाहते हैं, तो हाउ वुड वी मेक अ रिसर्च डिजाइन, और हाउ वी कैन यूज दिस टूल टू टू गेट द इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम द ऑडियंस, दैट हाउ दिस आइडिया वुड बी सक्सीडेड इन द मार्केट?
मैम, ऐसा तो बहुत रेयर होता है कि जैसे हम लोग कोई इनोवेशन करना चाह रहे हैं, तो पहले भी उस फील्ड में कुछ ना कुछ काम तो कर रखा होता है। तो हम लोग के पास जो एग्जिस्टिंग लिटरेचर्स होते हैं, उनको गो थ्रू करके, उनको एक बार पढ़ के, तभी हम आगे को न्यू इनोवेशन को प्रिपेयर करते हैं। दैट इज, कोई न्यू इनोवेशन करने के लिए भी हमें एग्जिस्टिंग लिटरेचर का यूज करना पड़ता है। तो उस एक्सिस्टिंग लिटरेचर को अगर आप पढ़ के आगे क्वेश्चन रेडी कर सकते हो, क्या काम उन्होंने कर रखा है, उसको आप फ्रेम कर सकते हो।
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with this, thank you, Miss Aarti ma'am, for this, comprehensive questionnaire design method. I can say what you have prepared, it's quite comprehensive. And more significance of it is that it is very, very understandable to the layman people who are very laymen and who know just from the scratch about the questionnaire designing, about market survey. That is very, very important as far as today's session is concerned. With this, I extend my thank you for conducting this wonderful insights. Thanks a lot.
थैंक यू सर।
So I just wanted to say, ask ki whether our third speaker, Miss Monia Goyal, is available in the session.
I'm available.
Okay, okay. So we are going to start our third session of the day, that is related to again soft skills, and that is the basic part of the soft skill related to the communication. Because as we have seen from Shweta ma'am insights, that communication is an essential integrated part of the soft skills. So Ms. Monia Goyal is going to throw insights or going to throw a light on the basic essence of communication and what is the communication all about. As far as her introduction is concerned, she is into this education industry, gold medalist, MSc Information Science from CCS University, then MCA and MA Education. She holds NAPTEL certifications, many NAPTEL certifications, have many research papers in area of computer science, and she has over 15 years of experience teaching to MCA, MBA, and MCA, MSc students. So with this, over to you, Miss Monia Goyal, for your insight. You can start your session.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ankuber. Just I'm sharing my screen. Please wait, I'm just sharing my screen.
Okay,
Please just wait, I'm just sharing.
it's fine. You can take your time.
Okay, okay. I think it will take 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, okay, take your time.
Yeah, is my screen visible to them? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible. Just make it a share screen, I suppose, to make it bit bigger and visible to everyone with a clear point of view.
I have shared my screen. Is it visible to you?
Yes, yes,
Is it visible to everyone?
yes, it is. Continue.
Okay. Okay. Very good evening to all present here, and thank you, Dr. Ankur, for giving this wonderful opportunity. I, Munia Goyal, Assistant Professor and Cultural Coordinator, CAHS, feeling great privilege to be part of this DST-sponsored TEDP. Today, I am going to give a PPT presentation on the soft skills development, and I will more emphasize on the communication. So let's start with my first slide. My first slide is soft skills. But before moving to the first soft skills, we have to know that there are two types of skills, hard skills and soft skills. Let us quote with an example. For example, a student got admitted in school and up to 8th class, from first to 8th class, he learned different subjects like English. Like the student select different streams. Like some students take PCM, some take PCB, some take commerce, some take humanities. And the students learn the knowledge, learn the subject skills according to the stream they have taken. And after they have completed the 12th, the student goes to the professional course. Some students do BCA, some students do BTech, some students do BBA. For example, if a student is doing BTech computer science, then he is grasping the knowledge of website development, he is learning programming, he is learning graphics designing, etc. If a student is doing BBA, then he is learning the accounting skills, then he is learning the human resource management, research methodology, and many more. Here, actually, I want to say that the technical skills that the students learn from her course, that the students learn from her education, are the hard skills. So hard skills are the technical skills that a student or a person learn from something specific education institute or offline any training or any program. So these are the technical skills. So hard skills can be measurable. Everyone can measure the hard skill. An interviewer can measure the hard skills, that what are the skills that the student has learned, that the person has learned. So let us quote the example further. Up now, most of the students are doing the same course and they are getting the same hard skills. But at the time of job placement, How many of the students got a average package? How many of the students got a higher package? And how many of the students got lower package? If now the question arises, the package, the differentiation of package depends on what? Does it depend on the hard skill? Most of you will answer that yes, the students who has got more package has more knowledge, and the student who has got less package has no less knowledge. But the answer is partially true, because there is another skill which goes with the hard skill, and that skill is the soft skills. Actually, soft skills are the non-technical skills that describe how we work and interact with others. Soft skills are basically interpersonal traits, you can say, or you can say are those skills which we learn through our own. That cannot be learned by an education institute. That cannot be learned by any other environment. That we learn from our own experience. So the soft skills are necessary for every person to grow in life. Now another question arises: if soft skills are necessary and hard skills are also necessary, then which skill is most important? What do you learn? Which skill we have to most learn? Soft skills or hard skills? Then the answer is that we have to balance both the skills. Soft skills and hard skills are complementary to each other. So we have to balance both the skills. A person has to register both the soft skills and the hard skills. Now I have given you example. I have given you very easy example. But if we take the case of an entrepreneur, in the case of the soft skills, that how entrepreneur is affected with the soft skills. Let us quote another example. Nowadays, a Shark Tank. You all know the name of Shark Tank. Nowadays, the Shark Tank episode is going on, and we most of us are viewing the Shark Tank episodes. So in Shark Tank, the entrepreneurs come to pitch their business, and they come across the investors. They tell about their business policies, they tell about the product, they tell about their profit, their loss, their annual margin loss, annual profit, and many more details they provide to the entrepreneurs. But many of them got funding and many of them not funding. So what is the difference? How the shark different that we have to invest in that product, in that we have to work with that entrepreneur or not? So the answer is again the soft skills. The person, the entrepreneur who is very good business knowledge and his product is superb, his business skill is fantastic, but he not get selected, he not get funds from the sharks, because their soft skills are very weak. They have no idea how to present themselves, how to present their product, how to their confidence is very low, so they don't get selected. So basically, I want to say that in both the cases, either we are working in any environment, either we are a student, we are doing any job, or we are doing any business, soft skills and hard skills both are necessary. So these are the 7 soft skills which a person has to achieve. Communication skills. The second one is emotional intelligence, adaptability, problem solving skills, leadership skills, teamwork and collaboration, time management and organization. Now, but we more focus only on the communication skills. Then what is communication? Basically, what is communication? What I'm doing just now is a communication. I'm sharing my ideas to you. What you are just doing is also communication. You are listening to my ideas. So basically, what we are doing in a daily life is a communication. Communication is the activity or process of expressing ideas and feelings or of giving people information and instructions. Actually, communication word comes from the Latin word communicare. The communication comes from the word communicare, and it means to share, to transmit. So basically, communication is the exchange of ideas, communication is the exchange of emotions, facts, and figures among different people. Communication is the conversation between two peoples. Actually, it is a two-way process. We have to give our facts and we have to receive the someone's effects also. So communication, we all are doing communication, but are we communicating the right way? Are we doing the effective communication? Are we giving the effective communication? Suppose I'm a teacher, I'm delivering my lecture in a class, and I'm studying, I'm teaching in a very boring way. I have no examples. I uh, just got, just got a very simple language, no facts, no diagrams. Those students will not be attentive in my class. The students will not grasp any knowledge. The students feel very bored and say what the madam is teaching. We are not taking interest in that. So it will a very bad communication. But on the other hand, if I am feeling in a very good way, if I am giving good examples, if I'm giving good language according to them, I'm giving diagrams and I'm teaching with the help of presentation, then it will be effective communication. Then what I want to say, what I want with the students, then they will grasp it, they will learn it very easily. So here I want to say that we all communicate, but the main thing is that how do we communicate? How do we communicate effectively in a good way? So here are the most common ways through which we can communicate. The first one is the spoken word, written words, visual images, and body language. Spoken words. Everything we communicate through the words. 80% of the communication is done through the words. And if we add voice to the words, then it becomes the spoken words. Spoken words are we can say it is the oral communication. We can say oral communication we can do with the face-to-face conversation, when we can do with the spoken words, we can do with the telephone, we can do with the spoken words, we can use the words, and even we can type our message, we can record our message and send to the recipients. Words has a very powerful impact. We can add many tones to the word, and we can add any volume, pitch, and it will give a very special effect to the spoken words. For example, if the person is very excited, then he will use the high pitch, and if the person is in very serious mood, then he will use the very low pitch. If a boss is giving commands to her team, then he will use the high voice, he will use the high tone, and if he is sharing, if the person is sharing some secrets with the other people, then he will use the very low pitch, very low volume. So words affects a lot. For example, our Prime Minister Modi ji gives a very wonderful speech because the words chosen by him is fantastic. He used trendy words according to the them. So the words affect the youth of the mind, and they're hitting. Actually, their words are hitting the mind of the youth, and so I think that's why the Modi ji speech is very popular. The second way of communication, we can communicate through the written words. When we write the words, either we write in on paper or we write on a digital screen, then it becomes the second types of communication, and it is called the written communication. If we talk about the earlier days, we rewrite the letters, and uh, for example, can I ask the question? How many of us write the letters in the today's era? Can any of us is still writing the letters to our relatives, to our friends, or to our near ones? I think the answer will be no, because the letters are converted to the WhatsApp messages. Now we are not using the paper, we are using the digital screen. Mostly we are using the digital screen. We are, if we have to send to someone through the written form, we send the emails, we send the WhatsApp messages. But every letter has also its own importance. Now, the third way to communicate is the visual images. Through images, we can also communicate. In the shortest of time, where the people is in Bhagadwadi, the people will have very short time, then the communication can be done through the visual images. And in the where there is a language barrier, where there is a problems in the language. For example, I'm speaking in another language and you are speaking another language. So visual images can be a very important type of conversation between us. And visual images can be done where we have to write a lot but in a short time. Then we can use the visual images. For example, if we have to write I'm okay, I'm excited, I'm sad, then instead of writing these same sentences, we can use smileys, and it turn our purpose, and it takes a very less time. And suppose I'm taking a class and I want to elaborate some technology. Then if we want the words, if we find the words, then it becomes very lengthy. Then apart from that, I visit the students to the animation example or an animation movie, and through that animation movie, students will learn. And for example, the example of visual images, suppose a manager or a manager is presenting his monthly report. Okay, then if we don't use visual image, then we have to write the big paragraphs. Then you put a big theory. So apart from that, if he can present his report on the visual chart, he can present a bar chart, he can present a pie chart, and many more. So this is the uh, importance of the visual images, that we can tell very far, but in a very short time. Another way to communicate is the body language. Body language is what? Body language is what? Suppose I'm sitting as a suppose I'm sitting. So this is a bad way. This will give the bad impact on you. So body language adds a personality to our communication. Body language is very important. For example, uh, there are two persons and they are going to the interview, X and Y, and they are going for the same position. They have same knowledge, they have same degree, and they are going for the interview. For example, X goes to the interview room, and when he enters the room, he is very nervous, he is not confident, his legs are shivering, and when he sits on a chair, his legs, shoulders are bending. So it gives a very bad impact on the interviewer. On the other hand, when Y enters the room, he is very much confident. He maintains a proper eye contact with the interviewer. He properly sits on the chair, and he is very confident. So obviously the Y gets selected. So here I'm telling you that the body language affects a lot to the communication. Apart from the body language, gestures are also very important. For example, a smiley face represents happiness, but a frown face represents confusion. Um, and eye contact is also very important in our body language. If we person the person we want to communicate, we are communicating, and we have proper eye contact with him or her, then he is willing to catch the knowledge. He is willing in a conversation, and he is very much interested in the conversation. But if we are not doing the eye contact, then it's very become very poor communication. So this is the body language. The body language can affect over the communication. Now, this is the process of communication. The communication process. The communication process, actually, we can say it is the journey of a message. And the first fact is the sender. And the sender in this journey of the message, the sender is the first who generates first an idea. He what he wants to transmit, what he wants to say. So first of all, he has idea in his mind that I have to say. Then he said, okay, I have to send this. So he frames something in his mind, and this is the sender. So after framing the message, after ideation, he encodes the message. The second step is encode. Encode means that he wants to uh, he wants to send the message in the same way that the receiver receives the message in the same way in which he wants to send. So this is the encoding of the message, that the message should be gone in a proper way. And after encoding the message travels over the channel. and the channel can be, it can be face to face communication, and it can be our phone communication, it can be over the mail, it can be over the internet. When the message travels over the channel, the it goes to the receiver. Then the receiver is the person who receives the message. Then the receiver decodes the message. Just say encoding is important, in the same way decoding is very very important. Receiver decodes the message, that how the if we are interpreting the same message, does the message can be misinterpreted. So the decoding means that the message got in the same way the sender has sent. Then after the receiver receives the message, the feedback. The fifth point is the feedback. Feedback means the response given by the receiver. That what receiver understand the message exactly given by the sender. So that this is the feedback. And feedback is the response, and it is a very very actually process of communication is a two-way. So sender has sent the sender has sent his message, and the receiver sent to the feedback that yes, I have received your message and my feedback is this. It can be a response to message that yes, I have received your message, and it can be a verbal form or non-verbal form. In the verbal form, he says yes, it is okay. On the non-verbal form, he takes only thumbs up or nod his head. And the sixth step is possible additional feedback to the receiver. It means now the feedback is given by the receiver. It means the feedback is given to the sender by the receiver. Possible additional feedback. For example, the sender can say that yes, thank you for your valuable feedback. Yeah, for example, my feedback is very very important to you. That's it. Just a uh, just please. I think there is some problem. I think there is some problem. Just please.
No, it's fine. You just scroll the PPT and just continue.
Okay. I think there is some problem.
Just continue.
Yeah, yeah. Please just give me a minute. Yeah. This is the seven C's of the communication. Now we have learned the process of communication, and we know that effective communication is the key to success. So, for effective communication, we must keep in mind the seven C's of communication. Okay, here you can see on my screen the seven C's of communication. The first C denotes clarity. The first C denotes clarity. Our message should be clear and very, very easy to understand. Actually, clarity must be in thoughts and in other expressions. Our message should be clearly worded so that the receiver interprets it exactly uh, at the same the sender has sent. And the second one is conciseness. Conciseness means it is a very important factor. The message should be in the concise form. A concise message is complete without wordy. We cannot put up so many words, and we have not put any unnecessary stuff. Uh, Message should be point to point. We can say that the message should be short and crispy. We can say the message should be short and crispy. The third C denotes the concreteness. It is the essential requirement for an effective communication. We should specify specific examples and data to support the message so that it can be clearly understood by the receiver. The next four denotes for the correctness. Correctness means the message should be correct in all aspects. A message has a right level of language. It has a accuracy of right accuracy of facts, figures, and words. In We have to keep in mind that in written communication, the message should be free from grammatical and spelling errors. Now the fifth one is coherence. Coherence, your message should flow logically and have a clear structure. Means our message should be flow in a logical manner. We should frame our message properly. Means what points we have to write in the starting and what should be in the end. It has to keep in mind before framing the message. The sixth C denotes the completeness. It is the most important property of a message. A message is complete when it contains all the necessary information for the recipient to understand and act on your message. Means the we have to follow the golden rule here. The golden rule for communication is this, that first understand, then be understood. And it should be followed here. The last C denotes courtesy. Courtesy means a friendful and helpful behavior towards others. While communicating, we should be respectful, we should be professional in our tone. Even if we are giving the negative feedback, we are scolding someone, or then we have to maintain our courtesy. So these are the 7 points we should always keep in mind while communication. After the 7 C's of communications, let's talk about levels of communication. There are different levels of communication, and the levels depend on how many people are involved, what is the nature of communication, how we are interacting with other persons. So human communication takes place mostly at the 5 levels: extrapersonal, intrapersonal, interpersonal, organizational, and mass communicational. The first one is the extrapersonal communication. This communication is between the human beings and non-human being entity. This non-human entity can be an animal, can be a machine, and can be an apparatus. For example, communication with animals. We are giving commands to pets. Yeah, we are giving voice commands to machines. We are giving commands to the smartphones. Is the example of the extrapersonal communication. Suppose you are a dog owner and your dog is hungry. He's wagging his tail. He moves near you while you are eating your food. Then it indicates that he is starving and he needs food. So this is his way of communication to telling that I am hungry. After that, you feed him, and after feeding, he plays with you. So this is the feedback given from the dog. So this is the extra personal communication between a dog and a human being. Exactly, extra personal communication can also be between machines. And when we are giving commands to machines and machines respond according to instructions given, it is also a type of extra personal communication. For example, when we are not typing any content and we are just opening our mic and record it, then the microphone or the on the YouTube, generally we do this. Then the YouTube respond, computer respond, our phone respond and play that particular song. Then this is the also a type of the extra personal communication. The second type of communication is intrapersonal communication. Actually, this type of communication takes place within ourselves. It is a we can say it is a one-way street. This kind of communication pertains to thinking, and this type of communication takes place within ourselves, within our individual, within in the same person. This kind of communication happens between anytime it happens, can be in a day, can be in a night. Actually, it is a constant dialogue happening in our mind, uh, running in our mind, and it shapes our, gives our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This type of communication goes just beyond verbal thoughts. It can include visualization and even emotions too. Just for example, interpersonal communication. We are the some people is some people are mentally rehearsing a conversation. Sometimes we are planning our day in our head that what things we have to do in the full day, or sometimes we are very much confused, and we are thinking that outcome of the decision. For example, if an employee on an appraisal day got very less appraisal, and he's very sad. He's he thought that what is the reason behind this? Why I don't get the good appraisal? I only get the little appraisal. Then several points comes in his mind. He said he thought that am I not punctual? Am I not able to work seriously? Or there are many reasons which comes into his mind. So he's talking. Actually, he is talking to himself. So this is the example of the interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication can be positive or negative. So the example I've given you is the negative interpersonal communication, but it can be positive. The human being can motivate him to his thoughts, and he can do that. I guess I can do this. Yes, I can do this. So this is the type of the interpersonal communication in which a person speaks to himself. The next type is the interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is all about how we exchange information, ideas, and feelings with each other. Actually, it is a two-way street in which two people are involved or many people are involved. And in this interpersonal communication, communication can be verbal or communication can be non-verbal. Daily life example, we can relate interpersonal communication. Two friends are discussing on some topic, or a teacher is explaining some topic to the students in the class, or negotiation between the colleagues. These are some examples from the daily life. Basically, this type of communication help us to build maintain relationships. This is very useful to maintain relationships when two people talk, when many people talk, then the relationship established between them. And these strong interpersonal communication skills are very important in all aspects. Either we are saying about the personal life, and either we are saying about the professional life. So this is the interpersonal communication. The next one is the organizational communication. As we all know that in an organization many number of employees are working, and all the employees are from different backgrounds, from different culture. So the importance of any organizational communication becomes very important. Actually, effective communication is very necessary for any organizational success. If there is a poor communication, if there's a bad communication between the employees, then it can lead to misunderstanding and indesired result. The company can't grow, the company can fail if the proper message is not floating properly in the organization. It totally the growth of the organization totally depends on the communication between the organization employees. Actually, we can also say that organizational communication is all about how information floats. It is floating in a bad manner or it is floating in a good manner. How it is shared with people inside the company and how it is shared outside the company. So communication in an organization takes place at different hierarchical levels, and we will talk about later in the next slide. Next to some slides, we are talking about the this chain of the communication. And organizational communication is extremely necessary for the sustenance of any organization. For any business organization, it is very important. Basically, this kind of communication is of three types. The first one is the internal operation. Internal operation is what? Internal operation is in the organization, if the communication occurs within the organization, the employees are working in the same organization, then it is classified, then it is known as the internal operational organization, internal operational communication. It is the communication that occurs with the same organization and between the employees of the same organization. For example, say, business meetings are business meetings are done between the employees of the organization, or see, you can say in this picture, person is giving the presentation and all the members are attending it. So it is the example of the internal operational. Yeah, we can say another example we can quote here. Uh, the team working on the project, the team members working on the project, because all the members belong to the same organization. So if the organization, if the communication is between the employees of the same organization, then it is known as the internal operational. The second one is the external operational. External operational means the work related communication that an organization does with the people outside the organization is called external operational. Uh, Actually, this is the communication uh, with people outside the organization also. The communication between the people working in the organization, employees working in the organization, and people not working in the organization and outside the organization they are working. And these outside people can be their customers, can be their partners, can be investors, or it can even be the media. The media persons can also be, for the media person also interact with the company persons. For example, there is a press release of the product. So there is a press conference, and the press members comes in the organization and communicate with the internal members. So this is the example of the external operational. Uh, Another example I can quote here, the marketing team of any organization is promoting their product, and they are going outside for this promotion, and they are communicating with the people regarding their product. So this is also example of the external operational, in which the employees of the organization and the people outside the organization communicate is external operational. The third one is, and the last one is personal. All communication in an organization that occurs without purpose as far as business is concerned is called personal communication. Personal communication uh, occurs without purpose. Business is not the people is not concerning that what the profit, what the loss, what the issues are in the company. They are doing their personal talks, as we are all are human. We have all human nature. So and we are working in the same organization. So we can share our personal talks also. So if we share our personal talks, then this is the personal communication. Here we are not think about the organization. We are thinking, we are doing our personal talks. So this is the personal communication. Then operational organizational communication we have completed, and after that comes under the mass communication. Mass communication is the most important communication nowadays. Mass communication is the process of creating and sharing information with a large audience through mass media. Mass communication can be done by many types. By many types, we can do the mass communication. For example, the first one, it can be the mass can be a print media, like any newspaper, any magazine, any journal, and we can float our messages to the many people through media. And secondly, it can be through the broadcasting. It can be done through the television. It can be done through the radio, or it can be through the movie. So this is the broadcast. And the third, which is most viral today, is through the digital media. Is through the internet. 80% of the mass communication captured is by through the internet. Is through by the digital media. So we can basically we can say that mass communication is one to many form of communication. There is a where sender is one, source is one, and that source is transmitting a message to the variety of the receivers, vast number of receivers. But one thing that we have to keep in mind in this communication, that here the participants are unknown to each other. They are not knowing to each other. The communication, for example, the mass communication is one to many. I've told you. And I want to add here that I'm talking about the audience, that audience are unknown to each other. So here the audience can be a specific audience uh, which have a specific interest. I think targeted audience, uh, or it can be a diverse group of people. Audience can be a diverse group of people. For example, if we're talking about the Amarjala, then it is the diverse set of people. All the mostly the people are reading the Amarjala newspaper. But if we're talking about the economic times, then the persons who are only interested in the economics, they are reading that newspaper. So it can be a specific people, or it can be a all over general people. So this is the mass communication. So now I goes to the flow of the communication, how the communication flows in an organization. In an organization, the information can be floated into two types. The first one is formal, and the second one is informal. In formal communication, the follows the office hierarchy. The official information is exchanged through proper channels, and all the employees have to follow certain set of protocols, and each and every information that has to be sent through the formal channel. We cannot break that channels in the formal communication. All the employees communicate in a very professional manner. They have to use the professional language. They have to avoid slang terms. They can't uh, use tutu and meme and all that terms they can't use. They have to use the proper formal language. This communication, the formal communication, can be oral, like meetings, like presentations, like announcements, or it can be written, like emails, reports, memorandums. The second type is informal communication. Actually, it is opposite to the formal communication. In formal communication, we have to follow the proper chain, we have to follow the proper protocols. But in informal communication, we have to don't do that type of things. It refers to the casual exchange of information, and it is outside the official channels. Basically, we can say the conversations around the water coolers, the conversations in the staff room, or the conversation in the lifts, the conversation in the canteens. All the conversation that held there are informal. All are informal. Um, Actually, informal communication is also very important. Yeah, we can say that it is also necessary for a healthy environment of an organization, because it helps employees, it helps people to connect on a personal level. And if they meet formally, if they meet informally, then they can better work together as a team. They can work in a free environment. If they are working in a free environment, they can share ideas, and they can share their perspectives very easily. So let's move to the next slide. These are the types of the formal communication. Formal communication can be of four types: downward, upward, lateral, and diagonal. First of all, we talk about the downward communication. Downward communication is also known as the top-down communication. In downward communication, the flow of information from higher levels of an organization to the lower levels. Downward communication is the flow of information from the higher levels to the lower levels. Here, the information typically goes from executives and managers to the lower level employees. Basically, in the downward communication, the commands are given. The instructions are given from the, you have to follow the hierarchy. From top level to the down level, the commands are coming, the instructions are coming. For example, the CEO is delivering a session on a future goals, or or a manager is assigning some task to the subordinates, or the company director is briefing about the new policies. So basically, this comes from the top to the down, and these are the commands or the instructions that are given from the upper side. This all comes under the downward communication. Then in this figure, you can say that a proper hierarchy is followed. The branch manager is giving commands to marketing manager, finance manager, and operation manager. All the marketing manager, finance manager, and operation manager works under the control of the branch manager. And after accepting the instructions, after accepting the commands, the marketing manager give commands to the BDO, the finance, because the BDO works under the marketing manager, and the cashier works under the finance manager. The finance manager is giving commands to the cashier, and in the same way, operation manager is giving commands to the officer. So a proper hierarchy from top to down is followed here. Next, move to the next slide. Upward communication. Upward communication is the opposite, is the reverse of the downward communication. In downward communication, we are the top level executives are giving commands, are giving instructions to the lower level employees. But in upward communication, the uh, the flow is reversed. It contrasts with downward communication. Here, the flow of information initiates from the lower level. The lower level employees initiates the conversation, initiate the communication, and it goes towards the higher level. Here, the employees on lower levels in an organization passes information, passes their message, passes their ideas, passes their suggestions to the managers, and they pass it to the higher level authority. Basically, the difference between the downward and upward is that in the downward communication, the instructions are coming from the upward, from the top side, from the top executives, and in the upward communication, the suggestions are going from down to up, from the down employees, from the lower level employees to the higher level authorities. They are not giving command, they are giving the suggestions that these are the suggestions for the company benefit and we can work on it. So these are so suggestions are giving from the lower level employees to the higher level authorities. Nowadays, upward communication become very, very important because it feels employees that he is very valuable. Employees feels that his suggestion is very important, and he will work on it. Employees can share their ideas, and in some organizations, employees can raise their concerns too. And basically, the result of upward communication is that it will provide a more workplace culture, more positive workplace culture. There will be a positive environment where the employees is happy. My ideas are receiving and my ideas are implemented here, and the employees will be happy. Employees will be working in a very, very good environment. Employees feels that their voices are heard, and they are they are likely to be more productive. They are going to be work for the company growth. Apart from these positive things, there are so many challenges also in the upward communication. Uh, some employees may be hesitate to speak up in front of the top class employees and the top authorities. Uh, they may hesitate if they may think that they will be punished if they are sharing their ideas, or if they will be given their suggestions, or they may think that their ideas will not be implemented. For betterment of this, that employee will not hesitate or employees share their ideas freely, organization need to provide clear channels for upward communication. So the company can arrange one-to-one meeting in which the company can provide a suggestion box where employees can give the suggestion also, their ideas also, and keeping their identity private also, keeping their identity hiding. They are not sharing their views or not raising the concerns in front of anyone. If they do this with the suggestion boxes. So these are the ways in which the upward communication can be done smoothly. So this is the example of again of the upward communication in this. This is the reverse of this. And the previous example I showed you that the branch manager is giving instructions to direct marketing manager, finance manager, operation manager, and after that they are giving BDO, cashier, and officer. Now they are reverse. The BDO is reporting to the marketing manager, the cashier is reporting to the finance manager, the officer is reporting to the operation manager, and all the marketing, finance, and operation manager are reporting to the branch managers. Apart from the reporting, they are also giving their suggestions. They are also sharing their views that what can we do for the betterment of an organization. And their views are equally important for the organization growth. So let's move towards the horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is also called the lateral communication. Actually, here the ideas, here the information are shared between the employees which are at the same level, which are working in the same level. It is the exchange of information between the employees of the same level in organization. It can happen between colleagues at the same level, in the same department. The employees which are working in the same department, they can communicate. This is example of horizontal communication. Communication or between the employees, they are those who are working in the different departments, but they are at the same level. For example, all our managers that and yeah, all our clerks, and they are sharing their views and they are communicating. So this is the horizontal communication. All the team working on the same project, the team members, the working on the similar project is also comes under the horizontal communication. Actually, horizontal communication improves teamwork and knowledge sharing among employees. It can also improve problem solving. It can lead to decision making because here the different perspectives come together. For example, if just say, for example, if I'm working in an education institute and we are working on admission, when we are focusing on admission, and suppose the meeting is going on and all the HODs of different departments are discussing admission policies. So in this way, different opinions come together and led to a better result. So all the HODs are attending the meeting, all HODs are at the same level and they are discussing their views, they are discussing their opinions. So this comes under the horizontal communication. The next one is the, here you can see this figure with the as I described earlier, team, colleagues, and other departments. But the employees either at the same level in different departments or in same department but at the same level. So next one is the diagonal communication. Diagonal communication is also known as the crosswise communication because here it is a mixture of communication actually. It is a mixture of vertical and lateral communication. It is a type of communication that happens in organizations between the people who are not directly connected in a traditional hierarchical structure. They are not connected, they have to not follow a formal structure. It is the way in which the employees can talk to each other, those employees can connect with each other, those employees can communicate with each other. They are not at the same level or not in the same department. In the above type of communication, the people are at the same level. But in this type of communication, the people with the different levels or they are working in the different departments and the different positions they are working, they can work together. They can share their views. It is a combination of horizontal and vertical communication actually. In this communication, people don't have direct reporting relationships. They for example, manager of the one department can communicate, can talk with the frontline employee of other department. So this is an example of a diagonal communication. Diagonal communication is also important as other three communications I tell you, because here the information can flow more freely. There is a no formal chat that he can report to this or he can talk to this and he can share their ideas to only this. So without having the chain of commands in the organization, the employees can share their views. And As a result, I think a better collaboration is maintained because as employees from different departments are working on different work, so better collaboration is maintained. One more thing about this communication is that the employee feel more valued. Employee feel more valued when they share their ideas with the people from the other parts of the organization. They think that other people also respect my ideas, so he feels very valued. In this diagram, you can see the diagonal communication. What is the diagonal communication? Vice president marketing, and the president is in this figure you are seeing actually in this figure you are seeing that a top down approach and the bottom approach is both are going in the same communication, the same type of communication. So it is the example of the diagonal communication. Now let's move toward the next slide, and that are the communication networks. As we discussed about vertical communication, we discussed about the horizontal communications. So when we mix those channels, then the patterns emerge, and that patterns are known as the communication networks. So let's discuss different type of networks in the next slides. Firstly, I will discuss the formal network models. Actually, these are the very formal models which have to follow the same hierarchy. These are the official channels. Actually, these are the official channels of communication, and they have to follow the any organization hierarchy. I think you are getting my point. What I'm trying to say. There are many types of formal network model, and the first one is the chain network. The chain network represents a vertical hierarchy in which communication can flow upward or downward. We can find this type of network in direct line of authority communications with no deviations. Actually, it is the most important type of network, most important type of formal network. In this type, the information can flow upward or it can flow the downward. Here, each employee can communicate either with their superior, either with their boss, or either with their subordinate. As the company CEO, for example, the company CEO is giving instructions to the managers, managers to the supervisors, and then finally to the employees. In which, in this, the chain is going continuously. In the chain network, the chain is going continuously, and in this pattern, the communication is going on. So, the next network is the Y network. The Y network is in effect, sorry, the multi-level hierarchy and a combination of horizontal and vertical level of flow. If we turn the Y upside down, we see two subordinates reporting to one senior. Actually, it is a specific communication structure. Unlike chain network, where we have to follow a formal hierarchy, the Y network follows the chain, but at certain point, it splits into two branches. You can say in this diagram, at the third point, it splits into two branches. So at a certain points, the communication can flow in the two directions. We can understand this by a simple example. In any educational institute, the chairman is giving instructions to the director, sir. And the director is commanding the dean. Now the dean is taking meeting with all the HODs of various department. So here the when the information comes to the dean, then it splits. Then the dean has to give commands to the HODs of various departments, and the HODs of various departments have to um, give suggestions or have to attend the only one dean. So this is the example of the Y network. I think you all got this from simple example. The next network is the wheel network. Wheel network refers to several subordinates reporting to a superior. This is a combination of horizontal and diagonal flow of communication, but here the subordinates are of equal ranks and all of them report to one senior and without any interaction between themselves. Actually, here all the employees of equal ranks report to the one senior employee. For understanding this network, you can imagine a bicycle wheel. You can imagine a bicycle wheel with the hub being the central authority. The hub of the bicycle, we can denote the hub is the central authority, and the spokes representing the individual members. And the spokes are connected only to hub, not to each other. Spokes are not in the bicycle. In the bicycle wheel, we all know that all the spokes are connected to a hub. All the spokes are not connected to each other. In the same way, in the wheel network, all the individual members are not connected to each other. They are connected through only hub. The hub of the wheel can be a single person. It can be a single person, and he can be a team leader, he can be a manager, and he is individually responsible for conveying messages to all the connected members. The connected members can't interact themselves with their own. Only the hub, mother hub means the centralized figure, the central authority is solely responsible for transferring the messages in this type of network. So let's move towards circle network. The circle network allows the employees to interact with adjacent members but no further. There is vertical communication between superiors and horizontal communication at lower level. Mm, Here, information flows in a circle among colleagues of the same level. I am talking about the same level. The same level employees um, sits in a circle. Suppose imagine a group of people. Imagine a group of people attending a meeting which are sitting in a circle position, and each person can directly communicate with only two members, with only two the adjacent members, either individual on the left or either individual on the right. So it creates a single and continuous channel for communication. This is the method. This is the way in which the information is floating in the form of the only the circle. The one person can communicate with the two persons, one on the left hand side and the other on the left hand side. So this is the circle network. The next one is the all channel network. This is all channel network. It is least structured and it enables each employee to communicate freely with the others. There is no restriction as one who can communicate with whom. All are equal, as no employee formally or informally assumes a leading role. Hence, everybody's views are equally and are openly shared. Actually, this network is a free in nature. Everyone can talk to everyone. So this is also called the free flow network. Here, information can be shared freely between anyone in the organization. Uh, Unlike hierarchical structure where information goes to the proper channels, as we discussed above, but here everyone can communicate with everyone else. It is an open communication where information can flow in any direction. Now we comes to the informal network model. Besides flowing to the formal network communication in organization communication can also be done through an informal network, and this network is known as the grapevine. The term grapevine, generally the term grapevine is used for the informal communication because the information travels here very quickly in all directions. And it is, we can say that is the information is unrestricted and it can flow um, in any direction. Information is the great, but the main point is that the information, because the information is floating through the informal method, so the information can be inaccurate. So it's better to verify the things through the proper official channels also. The first informal method is the single strand. In the single strand, the messages pass from one person to another person along a single strand. Basically, it is like a game of telephone. Information is getting from one person to another person and then another person to another person. But if as the information is passing to one another through a chain, through this chain, the original the original message get distorted. It get disturbed. Consider an example where an employee passing a gossip about salary hikes. We will got the something salary hikes, and someone has said to something, and someone has said to someone, and this is spread as a rumor. The next is the gossip network. In the gossip network, one person passes information to all others. Actually, we can say it is a rapid fire exchange of information, and the people have interconnected people. But in the gossip network, it might be possible that someone personal information can fly as a rumor. So the accuracy of the information is very questionable, and very low chances that the information can be correct. The next one is probability network. Probability type of network in which each person tells each other at random. In this, each person tells message to each other as the message is passed from each person to each person randomly. The person don't know each other, but they are just passing the information. So be careful. So we have to be careful, very careful with this type of information sharing. The next one is the cluster. Here, the information is not shared randomly, but in the cluster network, the information is passed by a selected people to the selected people. It is shared with a team to team, or it is shared within a department to department. So this is the last informal way of the sharing the information or passing the information. We have done through the what are the types of the communication, what are the types of the organization communication, formal communication, organization communications. But here I think we have to learn through also to the barriers. What are the barriers? Actually, barriers are the actually I want to cover the barriers topic also. Because communication barriers are those that interrupt the way of transmitting a message clearly and accurately. They interrupt the way the message that the sender want to send cannot be passed, cannot be transmitted accurately. Barriers can lead to misunderstanding, frustrations, or even conflicts too. So basically, there are five types of barriers. The first one are the linguistic barriers. These barriers arise from difference in language, such as vocabulary, grammar, or pronunciation. For example, I am giving a presentation in the English language, and uh, the person opposite to who is hearing me is not comfortable in the English language. So I am not communicating. So he is not listening what I am exactly saying. So this is the language barrier. Or if you are speaking to someone who does not native language too, and not about the national languages, about the native language too, then he or may have difficulty understanding the each other ideas. The second barrier is the psychological barrier. The psychological barrier is basically is it is not the external barrier. This barrier is rooted in our own thoughts, in our own feelings, in our own emotions. If we are angry, then I'm not capable of floating my message properly to you. If I'm shy, if I'm very anxious, so these can make it difficult to communicate effectively. The third one is the cultural barriers. We know that the people from different cultures may have different values, may have different beliefs. So, and they have the people with different cultures have different ways of communication. Their way of communication can also be different. So, cultural differences can also lead to communication problems. For example, what is considered to be polite in one culture can also be considered as a rude in other. So, this is a barrier which is by our culture. The fourth one is the physical barrier. Physical barriers are the external barriers. These are something which prevent our message from seeing or from listening. I can't listen the each message clearly, or I can't see the what the sender is want to viewing us. It can be due to noise, it can be due to distance, or it can be due to any disability that can make all the communication difficult. And the last one is the technological barriers. Apart from the phone, technology can also be cursed. It can also be cursed if the technology fails, if we are communicating with someone through a specialized technology and that technology fails. So technology can also be barrier. Technical problems with device or software can make it difficult to communicate. So this is the I have write some points that we have to follow with the while communication for doing effective communication. The first one is always think ahead about what you want to say. First of all, you have to keep in mind what I want to elaborate, what I want to say. First, keep in mind that this person not the ideation. I make my idea very clear what I want to communicate. I use simple words and phrases that are understood by everybody. Everybody don't use very complicated word. Don't use very technical words which are not understood by anyone. Increase your knowledge on all subjects you are required to speak clearly and audibly. Means you have to you have to note कि कुछ भी बोल दिया आपने, whatever you say, you have to keep in mind, you have to keep the subjective knowledge and you have to speak clearly. And here the audibly is speak audible. My voice is not so loud and my voice is not so quiet. It is audible to the everyone. Check twice with the listener whether you have been understood accurately or not. Here, the feedback is very important. We have to receive the feedback from the receiver that what exactly I am going to say, what exactly is it, any misunderstanding or not. In case of any interruption, always do a little recap of what has been already said. If is there is any interruption due to any noise, due to any whatever the reason can be that. So we have to repeat the our what we are saying. We have to repeat that the listener can easily understand. Always pay unavoided attention to the speaker while listening. While listening, always make notes of important points. While listening, we are we should keep in mind that what the sender is exactly want to say. We should listen carefully. Always ask for clarification if you fail to grasp each other point of view. If we are talking someone, if we are communicating, you are sharing your views, and I don't know that what the person is going to tell me and what I'm not grasping that exactly what he wants to say. I'm not grasping, so I can say that please repeat again, so we can do clarification. Repeat what the speaker has said to check what you have understood accurately. Yes, this is the main point. This is the point regarding the encoding and decoding. I say in the starting when I tell you the journey of the message, then the encoding and decoding of the message is very important. So, the speaker, what the speaker is saying, the receiver has to understand the same, not the misinterpret the message. The message should be same in both the mind of the sender and the receiver. These are some bonds which we have to not to follow during the communication. Do not use technical terms. Actually, these are the opposite of the do's which I have seen. You do not use technical terms and terminologies. We should use a simple language. Don't use very tough words. Don't technical language. If we are not giving any technical presentation, if we are communicating in simple language, do not speak too fast or too slow. Our speed should not be too fast. Our speed should be medium so that everyone can understand in a good manner. Do not speak in inaudible surroundings as you won't be heard. Do not assume that everyone understands you. Do not speak in inaudible surroundings. It means we are talking on the road and our speakers can't speak clearly. So don't speak in the inaudible. While listening, do not glance here and there as it might distract the speaker. As I previously told you that eye contact is very necessary. In the fourth part, I'm saying there that the eye contact is very necessary. Not move your eyes here and there while listening. It will distract the speaker. He or she thinks that why he is not attending my conversation and why he is not listening me properly. So maintain a proper eye contact with the speaker. Do not interrupt the speaker when the speaker is when the speaker is communicating with you, then don't interrupt in between. After completing that, when the speaker completely stops, if you have any confusion, you can talk to them. Do not jump to the conclusion that you have understood everything. Here I will repeat the decoding. I'm focusing on the decoding. Do not jump to the conclusion that you have understood everything, that you have you can misinterpret the message, you can miscommunicate the message. So think in twice after listening. Think twice. Can I get in the same point what the sender wants to send, what the sender wants to say, what the um, communicator wants to communicate me? Am I getting the right thing? Am I getting the right point? So think twice it. These are the some improving body language tips for keep appropriate distance. Actually, keep distance according to the relationship to the people whom to whom you are communicating. If you are communicating with your friend, you can sit or stand very closer to them. But if a peon, for example, if a peon is asking something to the chairman, then he should keep appropriate distance. Touch only when appropriate. Don't touch in communication. Don't we can touch if we are if we are very happy, then something sometimes happens that we touch the persons. This is not appropriate. Take care of your appearance. This is very, very necessary point. Take care of appearance. We should wear a clothes. We should wear we should not wear a funky jewelry if we are giving a formal presentation. Or so we should take care of your appearance, of our clothes, our accessories, etc. Be aware people may give false cues. Yes, this is the important point. People may also give you false cues that the if we are raising our hand, then this means this, and if we are nodding our head, this means this. No, people may give false clues. So be aware and be attentive. Maintain this. I've already said maintain eye contact. If you are either listening or either communicating, either telling someone, maintain a proper eye contact. Smile genuinely whenever it is necessary. Smile genuinely. Otherwise, mm, keep a neutral face. So this is the all uh, you can do for improving your body language tips. And this is my last slide. So I want to end here with a quote. In the new global and diverse, competition requires excellence communication. So thank you. That's all from my side today. If you have any questions,
Any queries from audience side? I think no. So it's a wonderful presentation, and we got a knowledge about the basic communication skills of any person. So I would like to extend my warm thanks to Miss Monia Goyal for this particular session. Thanks a lot.
thank you, Gaurav. Having this wonderful opportunity and giving this opportunity for the future sessions.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.